All right. All right. Let's change the name of this and let's see. Let's invite somebody on. You know how I got to invite on every time first. Hey, look, Meta's up 1.44 now that they've decided to get rid of all of the idiots that keep fact checking people, even though said idiots have like no authority to fact check anything, you know? It's like you hire a bunch of just artards off the street and then you give them the power to fact check, you know, every post. And then, of course, a lot of these people are very ideologically motivated. So they go out of their way to fact check things that we know are true and then not fact check things that we know are lies. Big Vic, afternoon, homie. I hope you're having better luck finding a truck, but if not, hey, you know, these things happen, right? Let me pull my sleeves up. I don't want to get paint all over my Spetsnaz uniform. Okay. Oh, we've got the king of the reprobates. All right, jump in here. Tell me something.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Well, still fighting this cold off, but getting over it. My wife, on the other hand, says she's feeling much better, so that's good.
That's good. She's the boss anyway, so we know how.
Well, she's still in there coughing her brains out, and yet she says she feels better. So,
oil of oregano.
Oil of oregano. I need to tell her that. Do you buy that somewhere? Or do you make it? I mean,
no, it's you can go get it at natural food stores. I don't know if you got one near you, but usually
yeah, we've got all those things.
Yeah, it's in their homeopathic stuff.
Okay. I mean, you're not the only person who said that.
Yeah. Oh, so Facebook is still doing its editing. My girlfriend posted something 2 nights ago to somebody, and basically called their brains mush, and they got all offended by it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like maybe they're justifying that by saying that was an attack or something.
What do you mean? All we said was their neurosynaptic pathways couldn't comprehend the
right. But
look up neurosynaptic, please. I mean, come on, folks. It isn't that hard.
But if supposedly if you just post something, they're not going to fact check it. As a matter of fact, supposedly he fired all the fact checkers.
How did we get to be such a thin-skinned society? Did it start with the participation trophies or what?
No, what happened is the fact checking was a response to Trump's victory in 2016. Because in the run up to 2016, there was the great meme war. And everybody was posting like all kinds of Pepes and, you know, and you had Trump Pepes and like it was nuts, you know, like on Twitter, Facebook, people were posting all kinds of stuff. And, you know, the lefties, their problem is, as it always has been, is they can't meme, right? So since they can't meme, they actually started trying to create legislative processes in which they could prevent the right from memeing.
Oh, sort of like what they're doing over in England now, getting 9 months because you're filming something. Yeah.
Right. See, in America, the First
you get 9 months for it.
The First Amendment is a huge like roadblock for that. But remember when people were complaining back in 2016 or 2020 about them doing all this stuff? And they're like, hey, it's a private company. It can do whatever it wants. But then as soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, all of a sudden they're like, this ain't cool because, one guy should never have that much power. And it's like, so you were okay when Dorsey was doing it. But now that Elon's in here saying he's not going to ban anything unless it's literally illegal, now you've got problems. You know what I said? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is just these people showing their true colors as the hypocrites they are, They're not interested in like actually, spreading ideas or looking at anybody else's.
Oh, no, James. They spread ideas by forcefully ramming it down your fucking throat. You know what I mean? That's sort of like the trans, we're all transphobic. No, we really don't care. You know what I mean?
I have to admit that I really hate the phobic thing.
Yeah.
Because never in my entire life have I ever been afraid of a cross-dresser, a person with sexual dysphoria, or a LGBT person.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I used to hang out with a lot of them when I was heavy into the vampire scene.
I could care less, James. They've sat down at my game. I just don't care.
Right. But by adding the phobia part to it, they're trying to make you out to be like, it's like you can't just be a person that doesn't like it. There has to be a mental illness involved. You see what I mean? Like, how could you be transphobic? It's like, I'm not transphobic. I just disagree with the entire idea of, denying thousands upon thousands of years of biology because someone who feels like they're a cat one day feels like they're a cat. It's like if you look in your pants and there's a churro in there, it's pretty obvious what you are. And I don't feel like we should. I think it's pretty easy, if you want to do what you want to do it. But by the same token, do not think that you can force other people to play along with your whatever you're going to call it, whatever I want to call it. I mean, I don't know. Mental illness? Yeah. Yeah. Don't think that just because you're having an issue that all of a sudden I have to agree with your mental illness. Because that's like saying someone wakes up one day and decides the sky is red. And then they go around telling everybody the sky is red. And then when you say the sky is not red, it's blue, they accuse you of being hateful. Because how dare you disagree with their belief that the sky is red? It's like, and what really amazes me from a religious standpoint is like they have no respect for the religious beliefs of anyone. So they want me to accept what they're doing is right, even though they know my religion tells me what they're doing is not right. So they're actually asking me to go against God to make them feel better. And I think that's very, what would the word be? That's just very inconsiderate,
Yeah.
Like, do what you want to do, but don't try to turn me against my own. And that's not just a Christian thing. That should apply to Muslims and, Buddhists and freaking Jews and everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much every religion is going to be that way, and especially actual pagan religions. Because they like to be all like, oh, paganism, blah, blah. No, you don't know paganism. Sorry. The ancient Gauls, if they caught a man dressed up like a woman, they would burn him.
Well, unless they were in a play, you know what I mean? If they were doing a play or something,
No,
'Cause all
when I
the
say
actors-
ancient Gauls, I'm talking like Iron Age.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking the Roman Empire.
Well,
If
the Roman
German,
Empire.
Germanic tribes, the Scandinavian tribes, the Celtic tribes back in that era caught you doing some funny business, you were gone. Right? They put you in a wicker man or something like that and just burn you alive. And that's real, paganism. I mean, Viking paganism, they used to sacrifice people all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Human sacrifice was a thing. But these modern day guys, these are like 1970 something Wiccans. And I don't have, I mean, even though I dated a chick that was hardcore Wiccan once, I kind of put up with it because of other reasons. And
She was hot.
Yes. Yeah, and that doesn't reflect great on me. Hey, James Lowry. I mean, but then again, back then I hadn't found, the church and everything. So I'll give myself a little bit of leeway there. She was hot, so I was willing to put up with a lot of her bullshit. But, now I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. This idea that there's a masculine and feminine spirit and you can call them whatever you want and, go out in the woods and dance around naked and it's all the same thing. No. Nope. Because we have records on how a lot of these pagan religions worked and what these idiots think are pagan religions, with their Wicca. That has nothing to do with the reality. You know what I mean? I mean, these guys are out there with priests. They were sacrificing animals and sometimes people, and they were hardcore, like my ancient Germanic ancestors. You did not want to get on the wrong end of the priesthood. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or you'd find yourself nailed to a tree with your intestines wrapped around it. I mean, these were hardcore people. And the Celts were no better. No better. I mean, a lot of people like to pretend like the Celts were somehow better than the Germans. They were not. They were terrible. I mean, the Celts in Ireland, they sacrificed 1/10 of the children born on the island every year to the god Crom Cruach. And the means of sacrifice was to grab the child by his feet and swing him so that his head would smash against the stone altar of the idol. So modern day pagans are a joke. It's like, now thank God they're not, trying to recreate the actual real paganism, and they're not running around, trying to burn people alive, cutting throats on altars and shit. I mean, I'm glad for that. If they want to pretend to be pagans and just do the Wicca thing and, basically be a bunch of, well, in my experience, relatively hot, gothy chicks, then, I mean, I'm okay with that, as long as they're not hurting anybody, right?
It's amazing how much a guy will put up with a woman's crap if she's hot.
One of my best friends in the world, the guy I went through Fire Academy with, everything. And he said that it is a fact that the hotter a chick is, the more rope a guy will give her. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, think about it. The hotter she is, the more like DTF she is, the more whatever, the more you'll put up with bullshit. But if she's not super hot or she's not down to do all kinds of shit, turn you out, all this and that, then that rope gets shorter. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I mean, for immature men, yeah, I think that's 100% correct. I think that's 100% correct. Young men who don't know any better, yeah. I believe that, yeah, they do absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I've seen guys do some stupid crap with money for the hot chicks. And I'm just like, dude, she's never, ever going to give you the time of day. And I've seen them burn money on them. And they're like, oh, I love her, blah, blah. Oh, God, give it up, man. She's way out of your league. There's nothing going to happen there,
See, in my case, it was women I actually dated that were fucking weird. So I'd put up with a lot of their bullshit. But again, that was before I found the church and everything and got a good woman and ended up marrying her and everything like that. But when I was a young, stupid guy that was, motivated by physicality more than, you know, like, is this a good woman or not? Yeah, I did stupid shit exactly like you're explaining. Oh yeah.
Well, here's my thing.
I mean, guilty as charged, man. I would put up with shit
Well,
that right now, no way I'd put up with it.
I have some criteria about a woman. Number one, can she read a book all the way through? Number two, can she cook? Is she able to feed herself? You know what I mean? Number three, is she clean? When you go over to her house, is it a pigsty or is it clean, neat? You know what I mean? I mean, these are three basics that a guy should look at when they meet a woman. It's just like, here's three of them. You know what I mean? It really, if they can read a book all the way through, and I'm not talking Dr. Seuss, I'm talking something like, I don't know, a Star Wars novel, something, you know what I mean? Something that's going to take some intelligence to read, it shines a better light on a woman than, is she not a cake face and what do you call that? A gold digger / hoarder of expensive stuff. You know what I mean? They don't go out and buy a Coach bag every month, with their money. You know what I'm saying? Are they fiscally responsible? These are things guys should look for. I mean, I've seen some stuff that I'm just like, I just shake my head, and these guys go out with these women, and I'm like, she's hot, man. I'll give her whatever she wants. I don't care how hot she is. She's an idiot through and through, man. I don't understand how you're even with that woman.
Well, I lucked out with mine. I caught her at a time when she must have been having a low self-esteem or something.
Or she was actually looking out for a guy like you that actually has a brain. You know what I mean? It isn't. It's a hat rack. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Because she's like very educated. She's got 2 degrees. She's very neat, like you said, actually to the point of sometimes being annoying. Because she'll be like yelling at me about, well, not yelling. I say yelling, but she don't lift her voice. But she's always like, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And I'm always like, God, dog it. I'm just trying to be lazy and paint miniatures or something. And
you know what? Every man has that problem. It goes in one ear and right out the other sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Even mine does it to me. Hey, can you do this? Okay. I got it stored in there. I'll get it done eventually.
Yeah, like you say, hey, when a man tells you he'll do something, he'll do it. You don't got to aggravate him every other month.
Yeah. Or is it? It's on your priority scale. You know what I mean? We all have the priority scale. It's here's the top and here's the bottom. And somewhere in there is the thing. Okay, honey, can you get down the Christmas tree? All right, it's August. It is at the 0 level of the priority thing. Now, if it's November 1st, it's moved up a ways, and every week it moves up farther in the thing. I better get that damn thing done here pretty quick and get that Christmas tree down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't got to worry about that since my wife pretty much demands a real tree every year.
Well, I understand that, James, but what I'm saying is that there's that priority list.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
She says, I want to paint this bedroom a certain color. You don't think it needs to be painted. It's at the bottom of the list.
Right.
When she finally buys the paint, it's time to start moving furniture.
But, yeah, mine, she can cook wonderfully. She is neat. almost to the point of being like, come on now. And she won't buy anything unless it's like on sale or buy one, get one.
Well, hey, James, I can tell your wife right now, this is, and I'll tell you this too, that everything is on a rotational schedule with these grocery stores. And I proved it to my ex-wife once. I
Right.
saved all the ads for 2 months for one certain grocery store. And I put the ads out after 2 months. I said, no, look, every 6 weeks they put this product for sale. Every 5 weeks they put this one for sale. Every 7 they put this one for sale. So if you budget and you know what you're doing, you could stock up for 7 weeks of this stuff and you don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, what we have is we shop at Publix a lot, which is
I
only
know
in
which
the
public
South
is.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah, you drove around, but
I've delivered to Publix. That was a pain in the ass.
and the way the Publixes work is they like, you're right, they do exactly what you're saying. They rotate buy one, get ones.
Right.
So if you want something and it's not on sale 1 week, just wait.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks, it'll be buy one, get one, and then you can roll in. And the only rule is you can't buy more than like 8.
And then when you bring 2 people with you.
Yeah,
You know
the other day,
here, honey, you take this card and you take this one,
Well, the other week she went and they had her favorite kind of coffee, BOGO. So she bought 8 containers of it. Whereas me, I'm kind of like whatever about the coffee. I think it's from being at the fire department. I got to where I would drink Bustelo, which is that brick freeze-dried Puerto Rican coffee.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because, I mean, the guys I worked with, a couple of them were Puerto Rican or whatever, and that's what they made. So, and I was the new guy forever. So my job was to get up and make the coffee. And, like when I came in, as soon as I finished checking out my truck to make sure everything was good, go into the house, make a pot of coffee, and, because that's what you do when you're the new guy. You know what I mean? James Lowry. If I didn't say hello already, hello. So I got used to that stuff, right? And a lot of people are like, I kid you not, I'll be like hanging out with like friends and stuff, and they'll be like, you drink Bustelo? I'm like, not only do I drink Bustelo, I drink that other, the espresso. Like, I drink it all, I'm like that way now. I don't give a damn. But my wife, she likes her Javalia.
Hey, everybody's got their. My girlfriend's a coffee snob, and you know what? I got her for Christmas that she loved was a stainless steel French press.
Nice.
And she's just like, this is the best thing ever. It holds heat for a few hours and everything else. The coffee's hot. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm glad I easily. That was a
good present, right?
Yeah.
I got my wife a new coffee maker, even though the old one was fine, but then we gave the old one to my brother-in-law. And this new coffee maker makes 12 cups of coffee or 1 cup of coffee. It's got, those little like K-cup things?
Yeah.
So it's got the normal thing where you add all the water and the coffee and you make a pot of coffee, but then it's also got the little K-cup thing, where if you want, you can just make 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, but did we need it? No, we didn't need it, in my opinion. The old coffee maker was working just damn fine. But she wanted it, so she got her Keurig, super fancy coffee maker because she deserves it,
Yeah.
And she's happy with it, and that's, whatever, right? I mean, I got up this morning, I drank some coffee. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good coffee, But I mean, I generally drink my coffee with ice. And the whole point of drinking coffee is caffeine and peristalsis, which is a fancy word for I've ate breakfast, I've drank my cup of coffee, now I'm waiting to poop.
Yeah.
And coffee helps with that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't drink coffee, but that's everybody's vice. Is I'm a truck driver and I don't drink coffee. Can you believe it? But
that is so wild too. Caffeine's actually good for you. It helps prevent you from getting Alzheimer's and shit.
Well, I used to drink a ton of Mountain Dew when I used to drive, and now I am sort of, I don't know, how do you want to say this to you? How do you say this? I'm trying to limit the sugar I intake. You know what I mean?
Sugar, yeah. Sugar is horrible.
Sugar and caffeine. What mainly is, this isn't even sugar per se. It's corn syrup. Anything made with corn syrup. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
But pretty much, if it's not honey, it's bad for you. Honey, on the other hand, is good for you, and you should probably get a tablespoon a day of that, at least.
Yeah,
a good tablespoon. I mean, it's a sweetener, but it's actually has nutritional value,
right?
As opposed to all these other sweeteners that have zero nutritional value. Okay, where is my green stuff, buddy? Somehow or another, I keep finding these. I don't know if hey, there's beer.
Bear.
I had a bunch of these, and
the bear.
Yeah, the bear.
Hey, no idea why my camera's not working. Hang on.
Well, that's okay. We don't
but
need
these things here, I must have had 10 of these over the years.
Yeah, that's the I call those medical shears. Yeah.
Yep, because we used to carry a little
run it up the leg or down the arm.
Like a little. We used to carry a little.
There we go. Oh, like the classic T-shirt, man. Like the classic T-shirt there.
Yeah, got his Zeppelin shirt on. Yeah, we had a little belt pouch that we tucked this in, and some gloves and some shit. This thing right here will cut a penny right in half.
I believe it.
I mean, it's crazy, man. These things, these medical shears. But you're right. When you're dealing with a trauma patient, take this right at the pants leg and just go all the way up. Pull the pants off, take the shirt off, look at them and see if there's any gunshot wounds or whatever their problem is, where all the blood's coming from.
Yep.
We ran on a Mexican guy that got stabbed a lot over a poker game or some shit. It is the craziest shit ever because it was just blood. And we took one of those the big bandages, like the 12x12s, and poured saline water on it, and we wiped his chest down. As soon as we wiped all the blood off, you could see like the 12 wounds start seeping again. It's like, oh my God.
That's fucked up.
He didn't die. He's fine. I mean, the guy stabbed him with a little knife,
The Leatherman has a set of those now. I wonder how good they are. I saw
Leatherman makes good product.
Yep. I've got 4 or 5.
The Leatherman I have doesn't have shears, but it does have pretty much everything else. Did I put it in here? Every now and then I find it. One of the things that they did is, like, when you got hired at the fire department, they gave you a Leatherman, and it was one of those big ones, right? In a leather case that you're expected to wear on your belt.
Yeah.
And we wore hard belts, so like these really stiff belts that
stiff leather ones.
Yeah.
So Bear, what do you have to say today, young man?
About what?
Anything.
Whatever.
Winter is cold. LA's on fire.
Yeah, well, LA could have prevented that easily, and
absolutely. I'm loving watching Gavin Newsom talk shit where he tries to, like, I don't know how he pulled this, but he tried to blame this all on Trump, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you idiot?
Yeah,
that guy is the devil, by the way. Gavin Newsom is legitimately an evil human being.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine here in Minnesota. I recall way back when the Reagan Presidential Library survived the Simi Valley fires because, oh my God, they hired goats to eat all the underbrush around the facility every spring and got rid of it all. And then when the fire blew through, it didn't hurt the facility. Well, how hard is it to hire a goat herder to push your goats up a hill and eat all the goddamn vegetation away? You know what I mean?
It's crazy how when you maintain your forest, you don't have forest fires that, except for the natural ones that happen deeper in the forest due to lightning and things like that, which are part of the natural ecosystem.
Right.
We have trees here in Canada that only release their seeds when there is a fire. Right? Like that's how they've evolved. When there's a fire, they release their seeds to preserve their I guess species or whatever.
Right.
But we have tons of forest fires too here, started by idiots camping, morons doing stupid stuff. But this doesn't even feel like that. This feels so insidious. Like it's weird. It reminds me of
they've caught people. They've caught people on camera actually lighting fires.
Or throwing cans of gasoline off to the side of the road and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, so there's some freaking arson involved in all this.
But here's the thing. How hard is it for them to hire a guy with 250 goats, put up an electric fence within 100 yards of occupied buildings, and just let the goats go for a couple days, eating away everything on the ground, and then moving it every day? You know what I mean? I mean, this isn't rocket scientist here, Hungar here. He's looking for his axe. He's ready to grind his axe with you, James.
Who's grinding their axe? Oh, hey, Mobius. And there is Hungar the Starvarian, my bro. What's up, my bro?
That's why we just gotta.
There's no peace for Hungar.
Oh, ever since you said that, it's sort of like, okay, Hungar, you're at the top of the list.
You're at the top of the list. You're the one that got the +2 dwarf axe of throwing instead of the axe of the dwarven lords.
Yeah.
That's okay. The game was still good.
Oh, it is. I got to do mine tomorrow. I'm just waiting for all my people to send in emails. Half of them have already, or some of them have already bailed on me because they're sick or they're got family issues. And, oh, Jesus, I
can't talk any shit. I've been sick for like a week. I've just been taking a lot of, like I said, vitamin C and shit and powering through.
Well, I know one of the guys, he's got a little kid and his wife also works in a school. So, I mean, you got 2 petri dishes walking in on you that works at home every day.
Yep. Since my daughter's kid, my granddaughter, has started going to daycare, she has been sick like every week. It seems like cooking udon for the mom. Yeah. Hungar has gotten my mom into Japanese and Korean food. He goes up there and he cooks homemade curry udon and stuff like that. And my mom's gotten to where she actually likes it a lot. So created 15 characters for a DCC funnel. Damn. Well, actually DCC, not too hard to create characters, but still damn. Now studying the rest of the rules. The DCC funnel I love the most, Jose, if you can get your hands on it, is what is it? The something of the Twilight Sea or something like that. Like People of the Midnight Sea or Twilight Sea or something.
Only 15 characters, Jose? My God.
He needs some more because every player needs 4 characters.
No. You do it like I did it for Keep at Blood Red Falls. It was so funny. First time I did it at Gary Con. I walk in there, I had 30 players, 30 characters ready to go. I had everything, and I just flipped them on the table and said, have fun picking them up, boys.
Well, in DCC, he's talking about the funnel.
Well, and Keep It Blood Red Falls is basically a funnel. You get into it, and It's really hard to win it because it's basically supposed to be a TPK.
Right.
It's you're in it and you screw up and it's a running gunfight. Now, the secret to the Keep It Blood Red Falls has always been it's a commando raid. Quiet, quick, and deadly. If you don't do those three things, forget it. You are toast.
Yeah, see, the secret of the DCC funnel is you have 4 characters who have no class that have been kidnapped into some horrible area, and your job is to at least have one of them, the Starless Sea, at least have one of them survive. And then the one that survives, if you're lucky, 1 or 2 survive the bullshit, you get to choose that 0 level character and then give him a class. And that's how you start your DCC character.
Oh.
Yeah. You literally start out as like a 0. You might start out with like a rolling pin or, whatever the hell you start. Not even weapons.
Oh, yeah.
You're just in this situation and it's like, go.
Stephen Perconi does that with his stuff when he does stuff at Gary Con, and he sets up his Dwarven Forge stuff. You're a 0 level character, and you got a rolling pin or something like that. Nobody's got any magic,
Right. That's DCC every time. And then if you survive that, you get to pick a class for the characters that survived.
Oh.
And that adds like a second kind of play style to it. Because if you roll up 4 characters and one of them's really good, you kind of want to keep that guy back because you don't want him to die. And then you're going to end up playing with a character with like, a 3 intelligence or some stupid shit.
He has the other 3 as beach shields to get the 4th one through.
Yeah, so you end up like exactly what you said. You end up sacrificing the crappier characters, hoping to get that 4th good character through.
Oh yeah, fun.
Yeah, there's a funnel in the core book, but the People of the Starless Sea or whatever, that one is just classic and good. But Goodman Games, I mean, yeah, whatever. They might have changed how they do English or whatever, but I own like literally, I can show you. Right up here, from here over is Goodman Games Adventures. So that's 1.5 foot of Goodman Games Adventures. That's how much I like Goodman Games Adventures. They're modules. I will play Goodman Games module like the Land of the Elven Queen or whatever, or the Shadow of the Old Kingdom or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying shit that might not even be true. Names of stuff because I'd have to pull the books out. But the point I'm making is whether you're playing any version of TSR D&D, Goodman Games Adventures will fit right in. I mean, with almost 0 doing anything to them. You know what I mean? This is like a Goodman Games Orc has like an armor class of 4 and frickin', however many hit points or whatever. I mean, okay. One thing I loved when I was running OSC is I ran nice, Jose. Nice. It's a good one. I was running the characters through the adventure about the barbarian whatevers. And it's like they have to break into this like tomb that's in the shape of a snake and get their way through and all this sort of stuff. And it was really good. It was
Left in the back. We're gonna get in.
I see him. Of course, hopefully he won't like completely derail the whole damn conversation again.
Of course he will.
With his
You're
anime.
gonna want to talk about, let's see here, Palladium or something.
No, left don't do Palladian.
I'm giving you shit.
But
No,
yeah,
let's
it's
go
like
Corey Ellis instead.
how you doing, left?
I don't know. Hey, doing good. Wanted to see what you were talking about.
We were talking about DCC, Goodman Games, Adventures, and how they basically go with pretty much any TSR style role playing game,
Ah.
which they do. They absolutely do. If it's a Goodman Games adventure, you can play it with AD&D, second edition AD&D, OSC, any version of basic D&D. It doesn't matter. It will. So, I mean, it's actually like double useful because one, you can use it with Goodman Games, Dungeon Crawl Classic, but two, you can use it with any old school TSR style D&D game, be it OSC, Dragon Slayer, whatever, you know. They're really, really good. And for the most part, very well written adventures. Let me grab. See, here's my Goodman Games collection of modules. Let's see. The Queen of Elfland's Son, that was a good one. Weird, but good. Because your characters actually go to Elfland. And there's like some kind of weird love thing between some people. And this one, oh my God. I love this one so much that the town in this one become a part of my homebrew setting. Herat is what they call the town, but I called it Heratgrad. I added grad to it. But this is the one where you have to fight a devil beast that keeps going into the village and eating people. But every time you beat it down to 0 hit points, it just turns to smoke and goes away, and then it comes back like a week later.
Oh, nice. I like creatures like that.
Yeah, there's a way to kill it, and it's a very specific way. And then they got this great map of Herat and the great wilderness map, you know, of the area. What were you saying?
You did say it turns into smoke, right?
Yeah.
You could probably capture that.
No.
Oh.
This is not some crazy RuneQuest game you play where everybody's got weird shit.
It ain't like an
Look, I'm not saying that you need anything
vampire where they turn
weird.
into gaseous form and they float away, and then you got to chase them through pinholes through the goddamn walls and shit like that into a secreted tomb where they've got their.
It goes to a pit in the middle of the swamp.
Oh.
And then here's the thing, though. If you go through, you got break in. If you go through the dungeon, that was the burial ground of an ancient barbarian king, right? He, if you're lucky and you don't die from all the traps there, and there are many, like example, look at that artwork. Like dude's at the bottom of a spiked pit and he's just like perforated. You can find a spear. And then if you're fighting the beast, you can stab it with the spear and do a strength check. And when it starts getting low on hit points, it can't turn to mist and get away. I want to keep my table away from U.S. politics of any kind. The dungeon map is the shape of a swastika. What dungeon map? Let me look at this. Also, don't think... No, it's not in the shape of a swastika. Are you crazy? Look at that. If you see a swastika there, then I don't know.
You have a problem.
Get your eyes checked.
If you think orcs are representative of any minority, or you see swastikas every time you see a geometric layout, you have the problem, and not everybody else.
And I would even go one step further. Swastikas.
Even if I did see something, Is that person a Hindu that made it?
Right.
Oh, dude.
Like
In my where I live in
Right there.
Montreal,
Sailors on the Starless Sea. That is.
So in Montreal, we have a very large Jewish community. And pre-World War II, when they were building a lot of buildings, they put swastikas in the mason work, in the tile work for good luck. So you
Right.
can still walk around the city and see old buildings where, like, you look up and right above the doors, there's a blue tile swastika on a white background. It's like, no one gives a fuck. Everybody understands that it has nothing to do with the mustache, the angry mustache model and his European tour from 70, 80 years ago, you know?
Right.
People are so fucking oversensitive about everything these days. Like,
Well, it's like it's ignorance. A lot of it.
well, in
I mean,
context,
a lot of people don't
context fucking
understand
matters.
that the heraldry of the royal family of Finland still has a blue swastika on a white field, but it's not like the German one. It's not like tilted up and whatever. It's just a good luck charm.
It's, you know, I don't know how to say this to the liberals, especially when they start saying it's a swastika, it's evil, and I go, have you ever read anything about Hindu? The Hindu
Buddhism uses swastikas. It's a universal. It's a sun wheel. It's a universal good luck symbol everywhere except Western culture. You ever see the movie Iron Sky?
Yeah.
The best bit in that whole fucking movie is when the UFOs are coming from the moon and they have all the swastikas on them and they're all sitting around their little like United Nations Council and everybody's glancing at the Hindu guy's ring that has the swastika on it and he's looking real uncomfortable, real fucking fast. Too funny, man.
Well, I mean,
Jose did a drawing.
Jose did a drawing.
Oh, that's really good, man.
Nice. Let's see. Well, the other thing, and oh man, you're an artist. Who knew?
Yeah, that's really good, brother.
Another
Send me more of your
thing
work. I'm
is
looking for artists.
looks like a drow priestess to me.
Could be.
Yes.
A big thing was that if you are of Slavic bloodline, swastikas are huge in swastic symbology, the Slavic paganism. They call them sun wheels, broken sun wheels, etc. Even to this day, the Ukrainians use a variant of the swastika, but it has 13 legs on it, which has nothing to do with like the Germans at all. It's just, sometimes if you watch like Russian-made movies, you'll see a guy riding and he'll have a swastika carved into the handle of his hand axe because it's good luck. You know what I mean? And they're just trying to be like,
you know what?
If
it's black with a white background surrounded by red or something like that, yeah, I can see where you're going.
Right.
If
If
it's a
it's
blue one, like the bear said, it's on a blue tile with a white. You know what I mean? Or a white one with a white background with a blue swastika. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a look and say, I bet you this was owned by a Hindu at one point in time. Or
I'm going to go out on a limb and say a gentleman or lady with brown skin
right.
wearing something with a swastika is not promoting Hitler's Aryan ideals.
Right.
just as a crazy fucking connective tissue on that.
Well, I think though the Tibetans and stuff, their versions are reversed too.
That's absolute myth. That's poppycock.
Is it?
If you go to India, you'll find them in all directions, all tilts, all leanings. That was something people tried to create as a thing in the 70s to excuse. No, he reversed it to reverse that it's a fucking sun wheel and a symbol of good luck. And
They
you'll find
use
them in
the
all
black
fucking
silk,
directions.
which is a symbol.
The black
of
sun is the
Nazi
multiple
group.
lightning bolt one. That's the black sun. I did a huge dive into this like 25, 30 years ago when I was designing some stuff and I needed symbology, and I suddenly found myself buried in swastikas because no matter what culture on planet Earth I went into, I kept finding swastikas in their ancient symbolism. So I was like, well, I need to know more about this. And it turns out it's just a sun wheel. And we need to start unprogramming people to associate something that was used for tens of thousands of years to promote luck and fertility and all these crazy ideas that got co-opted by a piece of shit, a piece of human fucking garbage for like a 10-year period, and now that's completely undone 10,000 years of history. It's absolutely absurd. It's Hollywood thinking. It's the small child mind of Western culture, and we need to get beyond it and they take all that fucking power away from it. You know what I mean? Because it's just...
It just I
Where
grew
is
up.
Hungar? I added him, but I don't see him.
I grew up in BFE, North Dakota.
you got to put it on the six pattern now. You got to take it off the 4 and 1.
I grew up in BFE.
There he is.
There.
Look at you bunch of freaking slackers.
Fuck you, you reprobate.
Eat my dick.
There's nothing
My
I can do.
dick.
It's no.
Actually, no, I should be careful because you might actually do it because you're crazy. So
Don't text my gangster.
I'm not going to play prison rules with you, motherfucker.
I don't know if that's testing gangster or not. That's testing something.
I don't know what it is. I've built a billion bridges, and I'm not a bridge builder. I've built a bunch of houses. I'm not a house builder, but you suck one cock and you're a cocksucker the rest of your life.
That's the joke I heard, which is you put out one
Mansoor
fire, it doesn't make
Ball.
you a firefighter. You save one person's life, it doesn't make you a paramedic, but you suck one dick. It's like,
Right.
there you go.
Mansoor Balls, I don't know what you're talking about. People putting you underground for, maybe it's because I live in America where I live. Most people mind their business. And, like if
It's been
some
so-
idiot wants to be away unless they're actively, oh, that's cool. A Nova made with trash parts. Nice.
It's been
Unless somebody's
all day.
actively going after you, trying to harm you or something, most people don't give a shit.
It is the, how do I want to say this?
Also, the idea that the sun wheel is a bad symbol. Bad people may use it, but that don't make it a bad symbol.
If I were to use a 5-pointed star, just as a random thing, just picking it out of the air, boop, a
Right.
5-pointed star, and I was to use it to do horrible things, does that make the 5-pointed star the symbol of hate, or does it make my actions the actual hate? Because
I
if
think
it's
the
the
actions-
former, not the latter, your country's in trouble because you got fucking 40, 59, 50 of them on your flag, and there's a lot of people on the planet who have a little issue with some of the shit you've been doing in their countries. You know what I'm saying?
I think the actions
Grow
might
the
have a little
fuck
bit.
up and stop acting like children. Sorry, Hungar, go ahead, man.
I said I think the actions might have a little bit to say about shit,
Tiny bit.
as opposed to
Con-
symbolism.
Whoa. Context?
Holy shit!
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Well,
here's my
this
favorite
guy
idea.
Context.
must be European, and he's trying to talk tough. And it's like, look, bro, you can't talk tough. You're European.
You know who it is.
And if
You know who
Mansoor
it is.
is because you're French, you definitely can't talk tough.
Premièrement,
You're French.
French. Deuxièmement, va chier. But anyway, beyond
Nazi
that,
suck-ups? No, I am mostly
what
Germanic
the
and
fuck
Slavic.
is wrong with you? I have literally beaten the you know what? I know who this is. We're being fucking trolled.
Well, it's
Done.
on Twitch, so it's some European, probably from France.
Fuck them.
Doesn't
Sun
matter.
wheel is a warning of destruction of the earth. Yeah, there's lots of different sun wheels. They're hardcore big into
And everyone's got
like
different.
Lithuanian,
Variants and
Latvian,
meanings
Slavic
and-
culture.
God.
Mansoor balls, suck on these Mansoor nuts. These American nuts.
Listen, you fucking swastika suck-ups better stop your nonsense right now.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I
listen,
better go tell my-
In World
I
War
better go
II,
tell
you
my
wanted to
Jewish-
come out for the Germans. In World War II, you got conquered by the Germans.
I better go tell my
For us,
Jewish
you would
dad
still be
where my-
conquered by the Germans. So
No.
suck on that pipe. Smoke on that
Okay.
pipe.
You know, my family killed plenty of fucking Nazis during World War II, buddy. They were on the fucking beaches at Juneau. All right.
James, should we go tell our Jewish father? Should I go tell our Jewish father that we're Nazi sympathizers?
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
No, the Russians won the war. The Russians gave the
Yeah.
most blood during the war, However, it was wearing American boots and eating American food and wearing American coats
And
and
Canadian.
Why are you
American
calling for this?
camo.
Why are you
American
guys
airplanes, American ships, American
guys? You're
American-
falling for his bullshit. Let it go, man.
Yeah, he's European. No one cares what Europeans think.
Yeah.
They don't
Now,
even
now,
rule their
now,
own.
now.
I know
we
8
have
out of
many
10
good
Kentucky.
and wonderful European friends here on YouTube that we get along with very well. This guy is a fucking troll.
Yeah.
Fucking
Sort of balls.
stroke his little tiny metric dick by himself.
Like they say in Paris. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, like they say in France, Assalamu alaikum.
That's bad, Ungar.
It's
Oh,
the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah, they also say it in the States. There are plenty of Muslims there too. Don't make it about that. Come on, man.
8 out of 10
Better than that.
Nazis might have died in the East, but you know what? There was weather, there was bullets, there's all kinds of things over there that happening that Hitler didn't prepare for. He thought he was going to be sitting in Moscow in what was that, 40? Was it in 40 or
Look,
41?
Whoa. Listen, as a Canadian, I will say this. Had the Russians, the Soviets, not just the Russians, the Soviets,
Yeah.
not tied up the fucking elite Wehrmacht on the Eastern Front,
Yeah.
D-Day would have not gone the way it went.
Oh, I know.
No, that's true.
Look at this Hungar. You still a virgin, motherfucker? I've got more ass than a toilet seat.
He's got children, you fucking idiot. He's got kids. Oh my god, this guy's arguing like a 12-year-old. This is brilliant.
He's just jealous because he doesn't have this shirt.
Who is that?
And he's
Bob
talking
the-
shit
Bob
to
the
me and
Painter?
look at the shirt I'm wearing.
I-
Literally a Spetsnaz shirt. It's like, I wonder if this is 0070 boy again. He's just
I
got
gotta
like
head
another.
Probably Sunday because the wife's going to be home on the 17th.
So you're going to head home then?
Yeah, but it's been snowing all day here, so and out in
Yeah, but
Tennessee.
you haven't been posting any pictures.
I sent pictures today. You don't look at the freaking chat group, you dork face.
Well, to be fair, I think my phone's dead.
If you even know where it is.
I think it's in my room somewhere.
See, he a bitch about me not posting pictures, but I post pictures, but you don't look at it.
I mean, I can't really debate this. How about you, Leth? How's things going where you are?
It's snowing.
It's snowing. Oh, yeah.
I haven't been
Right.
able to do much because it's been snowing.
The weather report with Leth. It's snowing.
Well,
Okay.
Let's
Good
go
to
to
know.
left with the weather. It's snowing. All right. Meanwhile, in sports, Hungar.
Sports is happening.
Here I thought I was going to come to Florida, and the guy just emails me and says, "Oh, the truck's located in Warren, Michigan." Well, God damn it! I thought I was going to fly down to Florida, pick up a semi truck. I could swing by James's house or my parents' house.
The good news, though, kind of, is that Warren, Michigan is a lot closer to you.
Don't give a rat's butt when it comes down to rust on a semi truck. Ask Hungar. You want one without rust, or you want one with rust? You want one without. So
Good job, Cal. Wear that pig face orc shirt.
wow, dang. I was like, that's really good.
Oh, that's good.
I made mom some udon with beef with a Korean barbecue sauce.
I know. I was saying how you got mom into all the Asian food.
It's good for you.
Did you go down to the Asian
Really
market?
not. It's really not. There's so much carb in that shit that like you're just killing yourselves.
Thank you. I'm planning. I'm trying.
Well aware.
I'm dying happy though.
Well
You know
aware.
what's crazy too is when I was going through paramedic school, they like break down diabetes by ethnicity, and like Asians are the least likely to have diabetes.
No, it's all us fat white dudes.
Actually, the most likely to have diabetes is black people.
Oh, that Kool-Aid.
overweight black people, and then after black people, Hispanics, and then after Hispanics, Europeans, and then after Europeans, Asians.
Number one at something besides civilization.
Listen, I have a firm belief that the food additives and all the stuff they've been doing since the 1960s, basically to what we eat, is unlocking diabetes in people. Like, it's not just because, like, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, the one doctor I spoke to who really was an expert said, look, no one catches diabetes. You either have the genetic markers for it or you don't. That's why you see skinny people who get it and fat people who don't, and vice versa.
Right.
I'm like, okay. He goes, so you have the genetic markers somewhere in your ancestry for it, and now it's been unlocked, and now you have to deal with this part of your life. And I started thinking about how much money is spent on test strips and medications and, you know, the little blood, we call them lancets in French. I don't know what you guys call them in English. Spears. I don't know. Lancets. Oh, you guys call them lancets. Nice.
We do.
Anyway, all of that money, you look at how much money is being spent globally on that, and I guarantee you it's in the billions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So would it not be believable that this has not been done on purpose, but now that they're aware of it, no one's going to undo it because it's just generating so much fucking money?
Oh, well, if everybody's got diabetes, then every time, even if all the people with diabetes were to do is go buy a pack of Lancets a month,
yeah,
that's still billions of dollars.
You guys realize who this is, by the way, right? This
Mansour Balls?
Yeah,
Who
like
do you
something
think it
using
is?
arse is a term, and I am half French and speak French and hang around French. They don't use the word arse. This is someone being a fucking troll, and we know who it is. And I guarantee you there'll be a video about us happening very soon, talking about what horrible people we are.
Does it start with a C?
Yeah,
Get the
exactly.
letter C.
I'm not Vanna White, so fuck that shit. But if that motherfucker wants to talk shit about me, go right ahead, fill your boots. If it makes you feel better about your life to put other people down, sir, you do what you got to do. I'm sorry for the damage, whoever damaged you to the point where this is what you.
Well, we know who damaged him.
His wife.
But I'm not playing. I honestly feel bad for a person who feels this is an appropriate way to behave in public because someone fucking.
Well, I've been waiting for somebody to make a video about me, and nobody ever really does. Even when I'm an asshole.
It's because you don't do videos anymore. You don't do your channel's dead.
Even when I was doing videos and I was an asshole, they'd make fun of everybody that was on the video with me, except for me. And I was like,
Somebody's
like the dog. I think that's James's dog. Shit.
Yeah.
he's a good boy.
Is he a good boy?
Yeah, he is a good boy.
James went to go check it out. Probably UPS delivering another 600 minis to him.
I just
Yeah.
walked out.
I gotta get rid of them. Hey, I'm up for minis.
He's gonna come back with 3 or 4 boxes of minis, and he's gonna go, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't know where I'm gonna store them."
I don't even like painting minis, but it calms me down.
Gonna put them in my half of the garage. The wife has the other half.
You should see his garage. Jeez, please.
He invited me over. He told me next time I come down to Florida, I'm supposed to go over there and take a look. And I'm like, where am I gonna put them if I even get them? I'm just like,
How many
All right,
minis?
so I've got this box here, which weighs a good 30 pounds.
it's
From
minis.
We knew it. We knew it.
Dallas, Atlanta.
Nice.
We knew it.
It's from Talis, Atlanta. It doesn't say the weight on it, but I went to pick it up and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, maybe the rest of your stuff came in.
Yeah, but this is too much. I was expecting like just a little.
Oh, maybe they send you some freebies. Quit being a little bitch and open it.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for my Kickstarter for
My
Battle.
wife's people have diabetes,
Oh,
high blood pressure, and dementia. I don't know about dementia, but diabetes and high blood pressure are very, very common amongst Black people in America.
Yeah, but
Like
doesn't it come from like Africa?
Once a year, we had to take this big test, to keep us up to whatever with our paramedic licenses, or actually not licenses, but
It's all in the diet, man. It's your diet.
and it was like that was one of the things. Just like you have to do a whole big test on like bloodborne disease and everything.
Well, I live off of pizza, Pringles, and beef jerky, so I'm good.
You just don't give a fuck, though, Hankar.
That's good.
You just don't give a rat's ass. I'm just like. But I read this book by a dietitian from the University of Minnesota, and he's like, it's all in the person's diet. If you're like Hawaiian or Polynesian, if you're eating all this crap like Spam and blah 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 instead of traditional foods, your body is going to react to that. And I'm Italian. I can eat pasta every day, and it's not a big deal to me. But you got to look at what your heritage is and go back through and figure out what your what it is that
these books out of freaking lead.
I mean, Coca-Cola flat out is probably one of the biggest poisons out there, I think. So
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad when they used to put the cocaine in it.
Well, the first thing is
That's when it was better for you.
I got another gold Tauslanta dice. I already had one. It's pretty cool. Like on the 20 or whatever, I think it has a symbol. No, it don't. It's just a gold Tauslanta dice.
Nice.
Okay.
so you got a freebie.
So now that's an extra one. But this, oh my God.
What's that?
This
books.
is the Tauslanta Epic Edition.
Jesu Christi, it makes the ganglia twitch.
So we got the Player's Guide, the Bestiary, the Atlas and GM's Guide, the DM Screen, and the biggest book is How to Convert Tauslanta over to 5e. Which I thought I said I didn't want that. But apparently, hey, what's up, Nerdy Ogre?
Yeah, we got a goblin, a dirty ass goblin in the chat.
Poor Nerdy Ogre.
Filthy goblin.
Well, fuck you, goblin. I was just trying to be nice.
Yeah, the police best.
Dragon Slayer or Goblin Slayer abridged is the best.
It's pretty good.
Agreed.
Well, while he opens his box,
Randall.
I posted some of my art in the chat. Okay, just-
Yeah, Jose, I've been looking at it. It's good.
Jose, I'm going to put my business email in the chat. Please send me your portfolio.
Now, this
Okay.
is weird. I mean, weird and like awesome, but still weird. This is
Did you
how,
ever get a hold of Darlene?
this is how low rules Tauslanta is. So there's the first page of the
Yeah.
player thing. There's rules. And there's this side with some rules. And then the middle is just a big map of Tauslanta.
That's cool. Hey, Barry,
Because there's not a lot of rules.
There's got to be more rules than that. There's 42,816 races.
Yeah, but if you want to do anything, you just roll a die 20 and sometimes verse your opponent, and whoever rolls the best wins. So it's like, man, this is, oh my goodness, I could curl with this. I mean, I curl with a 25-pound kettlebell. This is heavier than my 25-pound kettlebell. That is unbelievable. But they did finally get it to me. I'm very pleased. And of course, I got my second player's handbook, so I'm happy about that. And then the rest of the stuff I got in today, I'm hoping our presents I ordered for my wife that, I can't even argue because it's like, with all the storms and shit going on, I can't even be mad that some of the shit I ordered is coming in so late.
She'll be happy to get them when she gets them.
I'm just happy that it shows up because it's like, no, this is me being selfish. and ordering more magnets because I can never have enough magnets.
And we still don't know how they work.
Yes, we do.
I don't want some scientist telling me a bunch of bullshit. It's a miracle.
Listen, insane clown posse. You struggle a little bit.
Yes.
It's not a miracle. It has to do with electrons and protons attracting each other.
All he heard was abracadabra, hocus pocus,
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Science and shit. That's all I heard.
Yeah, music. It can't be seen, but it can fill a room. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh,
You
God,
know- and you
this
know
is
they're
what I
from
used to do. I
Detroit.
used to point at my face and say, "Does this look like a face that gives a shit?"
And they're from Detroit, obviously. I mean, because people that think like that couldn't come from any other state in America.
That's the only song they've got that is even worth listening to because
No, I like the one where they talk about going to Juggalo Island and hanging their nuts down in the water. That's pretty good too. You know,
Miracles is just funny, dude.
it's like, what if we had our own island? And then it starts out with the one guy being like, what if we had our own island and we could all just go there? And then, like, the chorus of the song is like, let your nuts hang in the water. It's like, what the hell are these guys thinking about? You know what I mean?
Juggalo Island and let your
Yeah,
nuts do-
Juggalo Island. And you got all the weirdos running around and shit. It's like,
There's this one kid on Instagram reels, and he constantly like sets up stuff to do a flying elbow drop on it, like microwaves or tables with freaking barbed wire and cheese graters and stuff. And every time he hits it, after he hits it, he just lays on the ground and sounds like he's going to throw up. He's crying like, "Ooh, ooh," like that. And every time he does it, he's got like a Insane Clown Posse shirt on before he takes it off and does it. And I can just sit and watch him do that shit all day long. It's just
dude,
hilarious.
your ex-wife is a juggalette. Shut up.
Yeah, because I like him freaking.
You like them something.
I like
This
him.
is a present for my wife. I don't even know if I want to wrap it or just chuck it at her head.
Just chuck it at her head.
She's a huge fan of this rider for some reason. So, and I ordered her some games too. I hope they came in because my wife is like a hardcore board gamer. Like she loves Carcassonne, Catan, Splendor,
Her-
Stone Age.
Gaming with ADHD.
Yeah.
Gaming with ADHD. Her and his wife would get along really good. She's actually in a board game group.
Yeah, that's
Every
my
week.
wife loves board games. Like we played Scythe, we played Dune, the
How was
new
that
Dune
game?
Imperium.
Oh,
Oh, this is presents for her too because she loves these things for some reason. They're exit the game presents. I guess you only get to play them once.
have you
But,
seen?
like, you and your friends sit down and you have to do a bunch of stupid like escape room bullshit to beat the game. Otherwise, you die.
Do you have you seen the new trailer for the Dune MMO?
No,
It's looking good. It's being released this year. They're saying.
Dune and
the last trailer I saw is the one where Paul Atreides allowed himself to die.
Yeah, the
Because-
new Dune MMO. It's by the same people who do Conan Exiles.
Yeah. Yeah, because he realized when he looked at all the futures, the only way for shit not to go crazy is for him not to exist.
Yeah.
So he takes himself out of it, which means that they end up catching Yui as the traitor before the Harkonnen wipe out the Atreides. So then it ends up being a more balanced war between them, and I mean, whatever. I mean, they can do what they want to do.
I'm gonna buy the game just because I'm gonna buy the game.
Well, I mean, you know, because you love Dune.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the role playing game, but no one wants to play it. And I don't blame them because that game is so freaking ambiguous about the way things work. It's like, wait, what?
All right, well, I'm going to bounce out of here.
Nope.
Yep, it's about time for my nap.
Nope. Nope.
Love you.
No. Go drink a Red Bull.
Go drink a Red Bull.
Yeah, because I want my heart to explode.
What do you think of these guys?
That's gonna happen when your wife gets back. You're gonna get freaky, and you're just gonna be a absolute.
Yeah, but I die doing what I love.
What do you think of these guys, Hungar?
Nice.
House Umbar great axes. At the rate I'm going, my Stark army is just going to be all Umbar.
I don't know anything about Game of Thrones except the Lannister love story.
Well, speaking of the Lannister love story, I just put the black primer on half of that.
Nice. Look up Bear's face. Look up Bear's face when I said Lannister love story was priceless.
You know, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But ironically, I'm not.
Yeah, I know you're not, but you really should be. That's the thing. It's like Alzheimer's. Do your nuts hang low? Do they want? Oh, geez.
Alzheimer's, but I forgot. That's hilarious.
Yeah, why would anybody want to convert anything to 5e? I don't know. It's like, doesn't make any sense to me, but, and the 5e book is like twice as big as the Player's Handbook. I guess I should try and pull it out just to see.
Yeah, your pull-out game's always been weak.
That's true. That's true.
He's just going to make you regret having him stay now. You know that's his plan, right? He's going to say the most
When
outrageous
is
shit.
the last time? I want to know when the last time James and Hungar were actually in a fist fight. When was the last time you two
Oh,
actually?
long time ago.
Yeah, we're too old for that shit now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
we're
it's
too
velocity
old.
bag threats. Isn't that much
And we're
better?
both armed all the time, so
And I just
we
pull
don't
off
fist
my
fight
poo
anymore.
bag.
Now it's like Springfield Hellcats. You know?
I just pull off my poo bag and throw it at him.
That's true. I'm always threatening to like run up and just smack his freaking colostomy bag while it's under his shirt and coat and everything. It just cause it to explode under there and then run.
I would shoot you in your foot.
And you probably would, yeah. So
And then I'd run up and give you a
this
big
whole
hug.
thing is converting all of the different archetypes from Taslanta and all the monsters into 5e stats. Yay.
Yay. Who cares about that shit?
Yeah, I don't actually care. I'll use the slot. I'll put this up somewhere, and I'll use the slot it came out of. Just put my other player's handbook. Be like, yeah, I could have done without that, but
If it comes with the set, they send it to you for free. Who cares?
yeah, but I'm pretty sure the set I ordered did not come with that.
Then give it
There
to
was a
somebody
set
who plays
that did
5e.
come with that, and there was a bigger set that didn't. So I think they upgraded me because of the
Well,
problem.
give it to somebody who watches your show, who watches your streams, that plays 5e.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, a lot of people play 5e. A lot of people like it. And Taslanta would be the perfect setting for a 5e game because you can be just as much of a crazy furry as you want to be in Taslanta.
If somebody enjoys 5e, let them play 5e. Play the game that you enjoy. Nobody's in charge of you except for you.
Right. I mean,
Or
you want
you
to play a
can
weird cat guy that has a pet cat, I mean, and rides around on a cat? Well, Taslanta's your game. Go nuts.
or
What
you
was
can
that?
read the book. or you can read the book and convert it back from 5e to Talislanta to reverse the process.
You could, but I already got all the
No, you give it to somebody to do that for themselves.
right. So,
All right, well-
looks like Alzheimer's, but I forgot. Yeah. Where's my bell so I can just be like, shame, Dean.
Peace, love, and chicken grease, everybody.
Say,
My hunger.
See you, Hungar.
So yeah,
Give you the full rimmer.
Hasta luego.
You know, when you say it that way,
We're
it's
number
starting
one,
to sound-
Hungar.
Like they say in France, assalamu alaikum.
But that is how Rimmer would always do the.
bueno, hasta luego. Que le vaya bien.
Hey, remember, he's got a silver swimming certificate and a bronze swimming certificate. Because on his thing, it always had like SSC, BSC. You know, like they were swimming certificates. But anyone who's ever watched any of the old Red Dwarves, if you paid attention, you notice Rimmer's the hero. Like every time everything goes to shit and it looks like everyone's going to die, Rimmer is the guy who saves everyone's life. Every time. As cowardly as he is, he's
Red
always
Dwarf.
the guy. I mean, we're talking about a guy who kicked Death in the nuts. You know, when Death showed up and was like, I'm here for you. And Rimmer kicked him right in the balls and was like, not today, laddie. Just took off running. You know, it's like, I mean, so yeah, Rimmer, pretty badass guy. I mean, of all of them, I would much rather have to spend eternity with Rimmer than fucking Lister. But then again, I'm kind of, you know, River's dirty. I think I could put up with Rimmer better, is I guess all I'm saying. You know, like I could tell him to shut the hell up. I could just do whatever. I'd probably outrank him, so, you know. But Lister leaving his filthy socks all over the place and just basically being a big slob. Like, I would wait till Lister was asleep and shave his head. Because, you know, dreadlocks disgust me. They make me want to throw up. It's like anytime I see anyone with dreadlocks, I just want to throw up. Because I know what makes dreadlocks. Dead skin and everything else. That's not a good thing. You know, it's like, okay, so you've got the same hairstyle as a nappy, unwashed dog. Grats. Also, I saw a thing, Jose, where I guess they dumped like thousands of tons of orange pills and orange pulp in the middle of the jungle on Costa Rica. And it like revitalized all the land and made all the rainforest grow back or some shit.
I haven't seen that. Well, maybe that's because I do not watch the news very often.
Yeah, it was on YouTube. They were talking about, it was one of those guys like the WHO guys or whatever. And they're like, what happens when you dump 20 billion tons of, not really, but when you dump tons of orange pills and pulp in the middle of a jungle?
Yeah, I saw that video. It's
In
pretty
Costa
cool.
Rica, so I thought of Jose. I was like, well, that's his country. What did happen? So I watched it.
It happened and it actually worked.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it turned out it was good. It was like, it turns out all that
that's sort of like
biological matter degrading into the dirt made shit awesome.
this goes down
I
to
will need to
this
make a
goes down to
video.
my theory is, why isn't 100% of all glass recycled?
I don't know.
It's just
like-
sand.
Yeah,
It's
What-
just sand and certain inert chemicals that are just need to be pounded back into its constituent atoms. You know what I mean? Get it. You can make it into sand again. You know, you're worried about all these beaches washing away. Well, take all the glass and pound the shit out of it, put it back. You know.
Well, down here they make brakes out of like old, beat up like ships and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like they'll like if there's like a really old like ship, they'll clean it up really really good, and then they'll just sink it off the coast.
They're going to do that with the USS United States, I think it was. They towed it out of Philadelphia, and Hernando County, I think it is going to sink it off the shore and make it into a scuba diver's paradise for them to go.
That's what they do. It does a couple of things. One, it acts as a artificial reef, so all kinds of fish and all the other stuff, corals and stuff, regrow. And then two, divers can go out there and like see all the beautiful stuff and hopefully not get ate by a bull shark.
I thought it was just a lure magnet.
Right. Plus, if you're out there fishing, you're guaranteed to lose all of your lures. But they do that all the time. Like they dump like at one point, I think like a building got demolished and they took all the gigantic pieces of concrete and just dumped them along the coast, but pretty far out,
Yeah.
And it just gives places for coral and little fishies to live. And the big problem we have, especially in South Florida off the coast, is lionfish.
Yeah, lionfish. I see. There's a guy that goes out. And,
yeah, which are not supposed to be here, but it turns out people imported them for their aquariums and then let them go.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they're the baddest asses on the block around here. So it's like, hey, you want to mess around? Lionfish will just eat everything. So they have people who go out and kill lionfish.
Aren't they poisonous to the touch?
Yeah.
their spines.
Yeah,
are,
they're the stripy ones with all the
Yeah.
spines and shit. Yeah, they're supposed to live in Asia where they have predators. But in the Atlantic, they don't got any predators. So it's just like they're all like living the dream, man.
If they're
just
dead, a
rolling.
moray eel will eat them. I mean, I've been watching that guy out of Florida there that he goes out and kills them, and then he feeds the lionfish some of the moray eels that are inside the reefs. He gives them a couple free lionfish to eat. So
Trying
Well,
to teach them to get a taste for it or something and hunt them.
I
Maybe.
don't know, but the eels seem to like them. So
Well, as a wise man once said, when an eel hits a lake like an electric snake, that's a moray.
Lake like an electric snake. That's something. No, I don't know what it is, but that
It's
is
a moray.
definitely something. What was the wise man? Like the lead singer of like freaking Deep Purple or something?
No, it was a comedian I used to hang out with back in the day. He was really funny. His comedy was so fucking like that. It was like if your brain was not activated when he did his jokes, you would just stare at the stage. It was like that Norm Macdonald type of humor where you're just like,
That humor that
paying
hits on
attention.
like 3 different levels, and if you're not paying attention, you kind of miss it. Like, oh, Norm was a world treasure. I think from Quebec.
Yes, sir, from Quebec City.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought so. He seemed like he should have been from like the
like
Newfie
Michigan or
something
some
like
shit.
that,
From where?
Like Newfie or somewhere like that.
I know.
Labrador.
Norm Macdonald came across like he was from fucking Wisconsin or someplace in the Midwest. He was Canadian, but boy, he didn't come off as Canadian.
Yeah.
But he
I
once
remember he told the
that's
story of how he
description.
went on a vacation to a bed and breakfast in like Vancouver, and he went to the wrong address, but the guy who was there was too polite to tell him. So they just sat up all night playing freaking Scrabble. And then in the morning, when Norm realized the guy wasn't making him breakfast, he said he's going to go to McDonald's. And the guy was like, hey, pick me up a McMuffin or some shit. And then they hung out the next day. And then Norm left. And when he looked at the address, he realized he's in the whole totally wrong place. It was just some old dude's house.
the good ones die too early. Let's see here. George Carlin. Man, I love
Yeah,
George Carlin.
none of them died too early. Like Patrice O'Neill and Bill Hicks died too early. Norm Macdonald and George Carlin were past 50 when they went. That's to be expected in our world, buddy.
Oh,
Right. Well, it's definitely not. Once you get over like 50, then every day is just a bonus. You know what I
Here,
mean?
James, roll up
It's
a carrot.
extra credit.
Yeah.
I was
But,
talking to some fucking 25-year-old recently, and she was giving me that bullshit that 25-year-olds give you. Oh, you're 54. You're not old. I'm like, oh, sweetie, if I'm still alive when you reach your 50s, we'll have this conversation again. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, every morning I wake up, open my eyes, and go, oh, fuck, I'm still here. Okay. And then I get on with my day. But it's the way of the beast. Men after 50, everything is extra time. You know what I mean?
Yep. Extra credit.
Yeah.
But
I imagine guys in their 90s must just be sitting there going, the fuck? Does this ever end? Like, holy fuck,
I agree with you. I imagine like these 98-year-old dudes, like every time they go to bed, they're like, can I please not wake up this time?
Could this be the night that death claims me, please?
Just let this be the one,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds morbid, but that they're probably that way. They're just like,
for sure.
I'm
My
over it.
dad's like 80. I think my dad's 83 or something. Still drives his Harley around. I'm like, Dad, one of these days something's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. It was all extra bonus time. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean that. What are you gonna say, Dad? One of these days you're gonna die. Well, I'm 70 years old, so I'm not too worried about it. Like, and I agree with that. Like I said, my life got so much better when I decided that I no longer feared death. When you get over the fear of death and you accept the fact that it could happen at any time and to just be cool with it, then you stop really giving a shit about a lot of the minor stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to be mad about little things when, But anyway, not that I'm saying I want to die, but if it happens, I'll be like, well, cool. It's gonna. We all know it's gonna, so. I don't know if my wife wants me to wrap these presents up so she can open them or just give them to her. Baby, do you want me to wrap your presents so you can go through the joy of opening them, or do you want me to just hand them to you?
Maybe people wrap. I don't know. I'm right now cooking and looking for the dude.
The dude looking for the dude? Is he on the couch? Have you tried luring him out with a white Russian? A white Russian. You've obviously
and
Big Lebowski.
the White Russian is Kahlua and something else.
Vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah, vodka and Kahlua. And then a brown Russian is like some kind of chocolate liqueur and vodka. Titan AE. I actually liked that movie. A lot of people talk smack about it, but I thought it was all right for a sci-fi.
For an animated sci-fi, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Titan AE? Yeah, I remember.
You must appreciate your. Oh, she is super appreciated. Like foot rubs and everything, man. I mean, sometimes I get a little Slavic on her and tell her to go wash the dishes, but like 99% of the time, it's not like that. She's pretty much in charge. Because, like we were just talking, I'm old and I'm like, whatever. Whatever. Plus, she might be smarter than me. Not positive. Well, no. If you go by IQ, she's got me by 5 points. But she's also got degrees. I ain't got any damn degrees. I tried to go to college on the GI Bill, and I was like, yeah, I hate this. I hate every bit of this. I hate everyone here. I hate everything we're doing. So I got out and decided to go through the trades, become a plumber. And then after being a plumber for a while, which everybody knows, I loved being a plumber. I loved it. I worked for a city. I was a pipe joiner, putting freaking copper together. It was pretty awesome. I loved it. But then I decided, let's become a firefighter. Mainly because my buddy, Bill, was like, hey, I'm going to fire academy. You want to go? And I was like, okay. And so, you know, I honestly thought I was a big loser and I wouldn't be able to do it. But my wife is like, oh, no, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Go to fire academy. And while you're in school, I'll just take care of shit. And you just do what you got to do. Because I worked full time and went to school. So she picked up the slack. Maybe she shouldn't have because she kind of spoiled me. Yeah, graduated in the top 5% of my class. Got a 9 to 5. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I'm glad you're drawing again, Jose, because your art is really on point. So she took care of house stuff and my part of the chores while I went through EMT, Fire 1, Fire 2, then hustled for a job, got a job. Then, you know, one thing about in Florida, at least, if you get hired as a professional firefighter, you are always in school. Like, you're never not in school. You're either learning how to be an engineer and drive the big truck and use the pump and going to paramedic school and going to fire officer school. And it's like nonstop. And they tell you that when you very first start academy. This is a career where you will be in school for the rest of your life. If you stay in this career, you will constantly be going through education. And plus you have to have CEUs, continuing education units or whatever, to keep your EMT and paramedic certification, which I was, I took the national test. So in all the states that had reciprocity with Florida, I could be a paramedic. But in states that did not, then I couldn't. Like California does not accept Florida's EMT.
California's goofed up anyways, and all they want to do is get you the money. You go out to California and it's like, well, I passed this test in Minnesota, and yeah, we don't accept that test. You go take the California test, and you're looking at it going, oh shit. You
And
fill
it
it out
does
in like 5
cost you
minutes.
some
It's
money
like,
to take that test.
but it's $500. And it's like,
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
shit ain't cheap. You gotta take it.
My lady friend who's a paramedic now at West in British Columbia, she was telling me about all the trainings she goes through, and so she'll be like deployed for a week, and then she'll be in training for a week, and then she's deployed for 2 weeks, and then back for another training.
Yeah, you gotta like it. I mean, you know, I remember when I went to engineer school, I went to the college and they had an old pumper truck, and you had to do like the math in your head. And all you got was like a whiteboard and the freaking grease pencil, because you're trying to figure out like how much pressure will be at the nozzle, you know, and all that kind of shit. And that's like some advanced kind of, you know, algebraic bullshit. You got now new trucks. You walk up on a new truck and you open the pump panel, and it's like, okay, this much PSI, go.
Yeah.
And you just, you know, it's just a digital thing. But the old ones, you had to actually turn nozzles and shit and look at the friggin'. Because I'll tell you what, you want to piss a guy off? Put the pressure super high at the nozzle where it's whipping his ass. Boy, he is, by the end of that fire, he is going to not be happy with you. You know, you're going to hear about it.
It's like being in the.
Not very hidden. I'm a shallow person, Monsieur Boss.
It is like being behind an airplane in an aircraft carrier.
Right. So, yep, it's easy to piss somebody off. All you got to do is, beat the shit out of them with too much pressure on a hose line. I mean, so it's the line you walk when you're figuring out GPMs and also pressure, and you want enough water to put a fire out, but you don't want so much pressure that the guy at the end of the nozzle is getting slung around. And it's not that hard to do, if you don't pay attention. It's actually pretty easy to do. So yeah, I mean, one of the worst fires I ever fought, I was on the end of a 2-inch line with a partner. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die. That 2-inch line, if they put too much pressure on that thing, it will just beat you to death. You know what I mean? And that's a big hose line, because usually you use like 1.25 inches, something like that. 2-inch, and they got 4-inch too, but 4-inch we usually use for supply. So the 4-inch goes from the hydrant to the truck. And luckily here in the state of Florida, not that I want to make fun of anybody because I really don't, we do regular yearly burns pretty much everywhere. And like Bear mentioned, one of our kind of like pine trees down here won't like do its thing unless like a fire happens. And they won't burn. As long as they're alive, they won't burn. Like, you can have fire all around them bastards and they'll just stand in the middle of it, because they're literally, their bark is designed to not burn. Now, if they die and they dry out, they'll burn like freaking a matchstick. But as long as they're alive. So yeah, our National Forestry Service guys down here in Florida, they're always burning shit, like all the time. They go out, they light shit on fire, and they sit there and watch it and let it burn, and then put it out and go on to the next place, and everything gets burnt out. And it's good, because then like all the little plants regrow, and the dirt beneath the trees is like actually better because of all the burnt dead material. Actually fertilizes the soil, and then a lot of the big, these 100-foot pine trees, they start dropping their seeds, and I mean, it's just the way everyone does it, like even in Kentucky, they do regular burns. California cut the budget. Look, California is a mess. They don't do anything right, Monsieur. They do nothing right, mister. Nothing. There's like a millionaire family that owns all the water. I didn't even know about that. That's something that came out because of all this bullshit. I guess some billionaire couple somehow cut a shady backroom deal, and now they own like most of the drinking water in California. And they use it to grow pistachios and avocados, which apparently are very water thirsty kind of plants. So the cities used to, like back in the day, the cities had priority for water over agriculture. So if they had to choose between one or the other, the cities always got the water, right? And then they made some backroom deal to where certain agriculture got the priority. And of course, these two people, these billionaires, they were the certain agriculture. And like I said, it's avocados and pistachio nuts and almonds. And all of those things require like a ton of water to grow properly.
Well, just remember that Central Valley had a big ass lake in it way back when, and they decided to drain it for agriculture and everything else, and now it's just there's nothing there. So, but hey,
well, and the other
just
thing
pumps
is,
water out in the ocean anyways. They don't, anything excess, they just pump it out in the ocean anyway. So
that's the other thing, is they did something where you weren't allowed to use certain water because it might upset some kind of smelt.
Yeah, the Delta smelt or whatever it is up there.
So there's like trillions of gallons of fresh water that roll into California, but you're not allowed to touch it because some little fish might get pissed off or something. It's like, you know.
So people will need to drink avocado, right?
It's like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of preserving nature, but I mean, I'd rather preserve LA than, you know,
Yeah. Well,
than random nature, you know, but
here's the thing: these smelts, you can find them elsewhere too. So it's not like you're saving a species from extinction.
yeah, there's stillhead salmon, which you can find all up and down, like British Columbia, freaking up into Alaska. It's not like salmon are somehow rare to one area. You find them bastards everywhere. When I was up in Eagle River, that's what we were catching. That's what the natives were catching. I mean, freaking buckeye and stillheads, you know. So, but yeah, you're talking about a state that back in the 40s was like one of the greatest states ever. Like back during the time of the movie, what was it? LA Confidential. It was like California was the shit. You could move there, get
The
a house.
golden age of Hollywood.
Right. And now it's like California is just a mess. It's sad. It's sad, really. It's sad. But luckily I've been to California one time, but it was only when I was in the Army and they sent me for desert training. And we had to go, I think it was Fort Ord. Because at Fort Ord, they have a bunch of vehicles they've mocked up to look like old Soviet vehicles. And we basically went and played laser tag for like a month. Because all the vehicles got like Velcro on them, and all of our vehicles had the Velcro on them. So you put the sensors all around and the laser projector on the barrel. And if you hit an enemy ship, like if you hit an enemy tank, like lights and sirens would go off to designate that it had been hit. And if you got hit, your I forget what it's called, it would make a loud whistling noise, just like a siren. And you had a sealed envelope in your breast pocket, and the medics would run up and they'd pull that out and open it. And there'd be a card inside that would say what kind of wound you suffered. So like when I got hit one time, I got a sucking chest wound.
Oh, wonderful.
Sucking chest wounds suck too.
Well, I know
And
they
then the medics, as part of their training, they have to do you up as if you actually had that injury. The cool thing is I got Miles gear. Thank you, Jeff. Miles gear. The cool thing about my sucking chest wound is they airlifted my ass out of there, because everything you do at when you go to the desert training place, NTC or whatever it's called, everything you do is realistic. Like it's actually, so if you got an injury and they think you need to go to the MASH unit or something, they'll bring a Black Hawk in and throw your ass right on it. And your job is just to lay there and pretend to be like you're dying, which is easy. You know, you just lay there. So, yep. That's why I don't know if you guys ever notice. If you ever look at like a Bradley or an M1, you'll notice the strips running down it and around it and shit. That's Velcro, so they can put the Miles gear on, so that they can play laser tag with the tank.
All right, I figured it out for California. There once was a lake called Tulare Lake. It was absolutely huge in California, and they sucked it dry for agriculture way back when. So,
Well, I mean, you know, people want their avocado on toast.
oh God,
So,
It is called terraformation,
yeah.
not in the right way.
Yeah, we're terraforming our planet in reverse. Instead of making it more survivable for us, we're making it less.
Well, now they're talking about pumping water out of the Pacific up over the San Gabriels, down into the valley, San Fernando Valley, then repumping it back up into Las Vegas to be processed and put into Lake Mead or something like that. So,
And with these habits, do you think that it is a good idea to go to Mars?
Here's the thing, though.
hey, if Elon wants to do it with his money, let him, Jose. It's his money. That's what I say.
Yeah, if he wants to move, let it go.
Let him go.
If you're dumb enough to get on that space rocket, go up into space, travel umpteen billions of miles to another planet with no way of coming
3
home.
months. 3 months at least.
Yeah, with no way of coming home. Guess
7
what?
months.
It's on you, sucker. Nobody else.
Oh, you remember Fort Ord? Nice. Yeah. I tell you, the worst part too is like every desert I've ever been in, sweat all day, and as soon as the sun drops, freezing your nuts off. And the temperature would be like 70 degrees, but it would go from like 100 and something to 70 degrees in like 10 minutes. So your body would be like just freaking out, like, oh my God, you know, because there's no cloud cover or anything. As soon as the sun drops, all the heat just goes flying into space. You're just like, ah. But then, like, after about an hour or so, once your body acclimatizes, then you'll be fine. But that is the same way in Iraq and Saudi Arabia. As soon as the sun would set, you'd just be freezing. Like, oh my God, this is the worst.
Yeah, on Mars, living on the Falkland Islands is like a sunny day in summer on Mars.
You know what? I think if anybody were going to live on Mars, you would think that they would like want to dig tunnels everywhere and just live underground.
Yeah, the Elon Musk rocket is basically like a truck. So basically it is like a moving truck, but nobody's thinking about the technology for the houses. Where are they going to live? How are they going to stay alive? It is not like you have trucks of supplies to stay alive. So basically you're going to die on Mars.
Yeah, fly 3 months through space just to die on a foreign planet. I guess that'd be cool. I don't think I'd like it, but you know.
I prefer to stay on Earth. With this terraforming technology that we have today, better stay on Earth.
It's funny because you're talking about this, Jose.
Problem is, Jose, is if you are in what do I want to say this? If you're going to go to Mars, you're going to have to live underground because you got space radiation and everything else. People,
Right.
You've got all the Earth's atmosphere blocks out so many different types of radiation and stuff. So,
Right. You would have to live underground or have some kind of really good shielding. Otherwise, yeah, you would just end up getting cooked by solar radiation. My wife's going out to pay the lawn people. Yep.
Hey, Bruce is here.
Hey, Bruce, how you doing, homie? Yep, one of my homies who has passed us all. He used to do a lot of work at, I think, Fort Ord. And that would be, of course, Shawner.
we're going to paint some more of the Tiamat today, huh?
That is, look how big that thing is. As it should be. I mean, you know, Tiamat. Gargantuan.
Only got a couple heads left to paint on that thing, so.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, that's where Shawner worked when he was young. He was a computer IT guy for like the Navy. But he wasn't in the Navy. He was like a civilian contractor. And he worked in California, keeping their computers up and going and whatever.
Rest in peace, Shawner.
Yep. Rest in peace, you grumpy old bastard.
By the way, I posted in the private chat an article that I wrote about space colonies. It is about the chemistry of space colonies.
Oh, look at you.
Just in case.
You're freaking a productive member of society, aren't you? He's one of those guys.
I turned 50 today.
You did?
Yep, January 10th.
Happy birthday to you, sir.
Oh, you're just a young pup.
You
Crossing the
turned
bridge.
50.
finally.
Congratulations. Welcome to Borrowed Time.
Yeah.
Another Gen X. Cool.
So
The
there's
best
another one.
age.
If Six Nations 31 Kings pops in, today's his birthday as well. We share a birthday.
Okay.
And out of my gaming group from 2016 through 2020, 4 of us had 4 consecutive birthdays from January 8th to January 11th.
Wow.
Wow.
That was
Hey,
pretty cool.
near my birthday.
This is
Gen
your
X.
birthday today?
No, near. I'm on the 22nd.
Ah. Nice. So basically, a lot of people were like getting it on back in May or April.
My parents were married on the 20th of April.
Uh huh.
I've got to be
That
odd
makes
one out
sense.
for my family. Most of my family was like middle, like near the end of spring, I think.
Whereas I guess I am a winter baby because I was born in spring. So I must have been conceived in the winter. But then again, in the hills of Kentucky, there's not a lot to do during the winter. So why do you think people have like 8 kids? Like, my wife is making her very famous, at least to me, spinach dip.
Can you tell?
I can tell. She makes really good spinach dip. If you like spinach dip, you know.
Spinach dip is good.
Ain't
I
nothing
love
wrong
it.
with spinach.
Spinach is
Somebody
good.
throws kale in front of my face, I throw it back at him.
I love spinach. I can eat spinach all the time. When I lost all of the weight I lost, it was because I was just eating meat and spinach or mustard greens, stuff like that.
Eats me spinach.
Yep. I stand it so much I can't stand no more.
Thank you,
yeah.
Mobius.
Yeah, but what we need to hear is like what Jesse Ventura thinks about spinach.
Actually, spinach is really good for your body. The iron gives you metal skin, and with that skin, you can stand up against alien attackers. I know this because I live in the bog.
That's cool.
That is like,
Cool idea.
if I
really.
had that talent, I guarantee you, if I ever introduced an intelligent, communicative magic item into my game, that's what it would sound like. If someone found like a +5 sword that was intelligent and could speak, it would just be that all
What
the
you want
time.
to do right now is you want to pull me out of the scabbard and stab him right through the kidney. It's a real kill him instantly. I know I was a Navy SEAL before I was a sword.
Right?
Barry used to be
Hello,
on the radio.
Megatron.
You're on the radio and you're in Minnesota once in a while. You should just call in as Jesse the Body Ventura. Just
I like the music you're playing. It's very good. Did you know that I was a member of the Eagles?
Hello, Megatron. I used
Hey
to
there.
make voices when I was younger.
Hey there, Doc.
I love Jesse the Body Ventura, but don't listen to him for too long because he starts to go like a little woolly, and the glitching starts.
The sneaker. I tested the first sneaker ever. Like, yeah, he just goes off and makes up shit. I think it's funny. You watch these old wrestlers talk now that they're the ones who've made it to their older years. especially from that generation, and they all just say the craziest bullshit lies possible all the time. Hogan
That's
being
the
the
fun part.
worst of the lot.
Hogan.
Come on, if I was a wrestler and I retired, I would do the same thing. It'd be fun.
You can't talk shit about Hogan. He's a real American hero.
Well, he's a real American.
He's a real American, and he's a friend to every man.
He'll fight for the rights of every man.
Yeah.
What I
Hogan.
like the most is that he got a hold of every wrestler he could, and he turned Tampa into a wrestler's retirement home.
Dude, the Dudley brothers Dudley boys, they live down the way. I've seen them out and about at like Old Town and shit.
They're
Like where I live.
They're my favorite team wrestlers, the Dudley boys.
They
And now,
were,
can you
they were
imagine
great,
them at the
man.
furniture store and you know, Devon, get the table,
Yeah.
and maybe pick up a nice curtain. You know,
Yeah, there's an area called Old Town on the other end of town, which is like basically it's like a mall except outdoors. Like if every store's a building, but there's no roof over it, so you just walk down sidewalks and shit. And you'll see so many wrestlers there, Mick Foley and the Dudley
Good too back
boys.
in the day.
Oh yeah, these guys, because they all live in the area somewhere. Now, I'm not going to try and hunt them down where they live or anything, because I'm not crazy.
Well,
But
WWE's got a training facility down in Orlando somewhere.
right, and you see these guys and their wives or girlfriends just walking around, freaking buying milkshakes like any other human being on the planet, and I leave them alone. Like I see them, I recognize them, and I leave them alone because I figured, if I was out with my wife buying milkshakes or gyros or whatever, I'd kind of want to be left alone, because there's a time and a place. You know what I mean?
You know what? I look at it this way. They're people too. Just you know what? Just give them a wave and keep going. You know what I mean? I don't really care.
Well, in Florida, we've got the nod. Like if you make eye contact with somebody and you recognize them, you just give them the bro nod and keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of give them the little dip and then you keep going. And it, they'll give you that dip back. You know what I mean? Like, I see you, but then you just keep going about your way. It's like whatever. But at the end of the month for James, a lot of January babies over here. Geesh. But which is good. I mean, I'm happy for all of you. I really am. Congratulations, each and every one of you, for making it another rotation, as he just said. Y'all deserve a
So the
clap.
greatest people.
Good job. Yeah, I'm working on these House Harlow Reapers, kind of. Getting ready to do the skin on them.
I don't want to say anything controversial. I was just over at Justin's chat.
Justin.
Justin. I think his name is Justin. He's another friend from up north, and he has controversial opinions.
What's his chat channel?
I can't remember.
Oh.
Shadow and him were talking.
Oh, Justin.
Yeah.
The Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to tell APAC I wasn't part of the guys laughing over there.
Yeah, right.
Don't
Me
come
and
after me,
Elmer used to
APAC.
always mess with him and be like, "What happened to you, man? Did the Mossad steal your bike when you were a kid or something?" Like,
That's still my favorite line you ever had.
it's like you're just so angry. It's like, it's like I was so. You know what? I have to admit, because I'm ignorant to being shocked the first time I talked to him. Because he started talking all this crazy shit, and I'm like, Justin, aren't you Canadian? And he's like,
You're supposed to be
Yeah.
nice.
And I'm like, yeah, I thought you guys were nice and polite. And here you are going off on some, Third Reich shit. I'm all like, wow, dude, what is going on? I was like, I didn't know Canadians were like that. And you know what? It turns out when you go on X, oh my God. Yeah, Canadians are angry about shit right now.
Like there was a war crime they did back in World War II, and like some of them have got their angry selves back from the 1940s.
Yeah, apparently the Canadians were so rough that like the Geneva Convention had to change rules to deal with what the Canadians were up to. Because, but hey, you know what they say? It's not a war crime the first time.
Never the first time.
Because, no one told you. So, but yeah, that guy don't talk to me at all. Apparently he says I talk shit about his mom or something, which doesn't sound like me at all. Like, I don't remember, but
remember
it
his mom?
doesn't sound like me at all. I don't talk about people's mom.
Okay. That doesn't sound like James. No offense.
Yeah. So he stopped talking to me, but I was like, well, no real loss. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that Shadow, as much of a hippie as he is, puts up with the shit, but it is not my place to judge other people's whatevers.
It was just an interesting chat. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that guy, whatever you're talking about, it will always come around to a certain group of people doing something. It does not matter. You can be talking about chocolate ice cream or fucking cheddar cheese. It does not matter. At some point, it is going to be about the people who like to wear the little hats. 100%. 100% every time. And as somebody who was raised that way, I'm just sitting here like, dude, I mean, yeah, I'm not super pro Israel either, but come on, man, calm down.
You're one of the least pro-Israel raised Jewish people I know.
Who, me?
Yeah.
That's because I'm a patriot. I'm pro-America. And I want America to do what's right for America.
Yeah.
And that means, even though this pisses a lot of people off, I don't want to give anybody money. Not just Israel. I'm not targeting Israel because of some sort of weird. I mean, my cousin Stephen lived in Tel Aviv, served during the 6-Day War and all that. No, I don't want to give any money to anyone. I want our highways to be the most beautiful highways in the world. I want our dams to be beautiful. I want no homeless people on the streets, our veterans to be taken. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I guess I'm just
catching what you're throwing.
selfish. And you got LA burning down and President Biden sending another $500 million to Ukraine.
Just
What do you mean, $500 billion?
Yeah, no, it was 500 million. So
I don't care.
And it's just like, dude, really? Come on. But hey, he'll be gone hopefully in a little while, and he can retire to his beach in frickin' Delaware or Rhode Island or wherever the hell he goes. And hopefully we can start thinking straight about shit. Because
I read somewhere that
$500 million would have gone a long way towards all these people in North Carolina, in LA, like all these places.
Hey, you need those FEMA funds to help all these illegal immigrants come across.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, that was funny how they said that didn't happen, and then later they're like, "Well, yeah, that did happen." it's like you guys don't even know what you're doing. But that's the problem when the government gets
At
really
first,
big.
it's going to be.
It-
First, it didn't really happen. Then it's like it's a good thing that.
You're right.
And this is a good thing.
Somebody
They will
on
say that.
X said that. They said everything that happens, the government says it didn't happen. Then they admit it happened, and then they tell you why it's a good thing it did happen. Hey, Off Grid, how you doing, man?
It's not just the government. There's also people who will do that to us.
Right. It's like,
It's-
wait a minute. Okay, but whatever. Jose, though, it turns out, is quite the artist.
Yeah,
Very impressive stuff.
I wish I could draw.
Yeah, I wish I could draw. I can draw like stick figures.
My
and
brother-
shit.
My brother was the artist in the family. He could draw really good.
Yeah, my brother was the whore of the family. He couldn't draw, but he didn't need to.
My brother's also that too.
You know,
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that Hungar married the nurse.
No, Hungar's first wife was this Czech ballerina named Andrea, and she was freaking smoking hot. But for whatever reason, even though after the 2 years she wanted to stay with him, he was like, nope.
What?
And got a divorce.
Wait, did he have an option to get rid of her?
He sure did.
Oh, hey, the Ultra American's in there.
Ultra American, what's up?
No,
Because
he's in the private chat.
he did one of those
He's in the private
things.
chat.
I mean, it's been so long that I'm sure there's a nobody could do anything to him because it's been so long. But he married her. She paid him like a shit ton of money to marry her. But then after they got married, because it turned out she was like religious and whatever, she kind of got to where she wanted to be his wife. Or maybe it's that hog he's toting around. Either way, she got to where she wanted to be his wife. But when the 2 years was up, he was like, nah. You know, catch you later.
The Ultra American TT Beeger, he's in our private chat, so he's backstage.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
got 7 of us now.
Well, I might bounce out actually because it's supper time.
Bear,
How you
have
doing,
yourself a good day.
What was that?
I said, have yourself a good day. I enjoyed watching Weird Science last night, man.
That's fun. It was a good time. I was actually thinking about it. Is she a djinn?
Is she a djinn?
Is she
who
a
a
djinn?
djinn?
Is she a demon? Lisa in Weird Science, the
Yeah,
Kelly LeBrock, the girl
Kelly
they
LeBrock
create.
character.
Is she a fucking genie or something? Like, there's a subtext there, and I went looking on the internet to see if anybody's talking about it. Nada,
Nobody talked
Zero.
about that.
Huh?
Nobody questioned it. It's just
nothing.
It
I'm
would
just
make
watching.
sense, though, that she would be a djinn or something like that because they
Yeah.
did a weird ritual and she showed up.
Exactly.
And she obviously had
Yeah.
magic powers because she turned Bill Paxton into a toad.
And if you look at her magic powers, they're electric universe creation powers. Everything she makes is done with electricity, right? So, like at the end, when the Porsche and the Ferrari disappear, they collapse into an electric thing. When she changes their clothes when they walk through the door, there's this electricity that with. So it's really interesting, and I would love if John Hughes were alive, which he sadly isn't, and he never talked about his scripts that much. If he would actually have shared what was going through his head when he was writing all of this, because it's so like he wrote the script in a week. So clearly he was fucking focused, when he wrote it.
I don't even think it took him that long. I thought it was done in a weekend.
I thought it was a week, but whatever. Week, whatever.
Yeah, it was a short span of time, and he was doing the Breakfast Club,
At the same time, yeah.
and he didn't really. I think he was a director from afar because a lot of this movie doesn't really have the John Hughes touch to it.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of it where you can tell, like the second unit director's on set, and things are a little bit looser.
Yeah.
But you can definitely tell there's certain parts of the end of the movie where John Hughes is there, and it feels like a John Hughes film.
Who knew you guys were such cinephiles?
Have you met me?
Have you seen my show on Sundays?
Yeah. Well, with that, gentlemen, I am going to bounce out and go make my supper. So, peace, love, geek, and don't overthrow democracy while I'm gone.
All right. Well, same to you up
I
there.
will
Ken.
now.
Try not.
I'm
No
going to.
promises.
And if you do, can you overthrow ours first?
You guys, you're already getting rid of the guy. Come
No.
on.
You
No,
literally
you're
have
not.
no idea how Westminster parliamentary systems work, and that's
I
the
want to start
problem.
a second revolution and take
He's
it to
probably
Britain
got
this
a way
time
to
around.
find. He probably has a loophole to just stay permanently in power.
No,
Why don't you
he
guys?
can literally use what he's doing to delay the elections until October when they have to happen anyway. Because the two things he's done is he's prorogued Parliament, which may be illegal, and there's a couple of lawsuits coming against him for that. And secondly, he said he's not going to step down until a new leader is selected, but they're going to do a complete process to select that leader, so that he can stretch that out to take months if he wants. You understand?
You should ask Minnesota or Wisconsin hunters to come help you.
Okay. And on that note, good night. Bye.
See ya.
Go ask the sixth largest military in the world. Fucking Wisconsin has more fucking riflemen than any military. They're the sixth largest military.
Yeah, but they can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn.
Excuse me? I would never want to. I would never want to challenge a fucking rifleman out of fucking Wisconsin. Wisconsin's got more fucking Medal of Honor recipients than the rest of the nation. Out of all 50 states.
I live in Minnesota. Now you gotta. It's how you were brought up with a gun. I mean,
Okay.
James knows this for sure. I know it because I was brought up in North Dakota. I don't know if any of you other guys have shot rifle or what, but I grew up with a
Why?
single shot rifle, and it was like shoot, cock, drop it, put a new one in, and shoot again. So it was always wait for your shot.
I made it all the way through Boy Scouts. I'm an actual Eagle Scout, lifetime member of the Eagle Scout Association, and
Nice.
rifle, shotgun, BB, and they instilled gun safety like it was second nature in us. And so, like, if I'm ever like, I don't own a gun, but if I'm ever like looking at one, I'm always like, my first reaction is check to make sure it's not even loaded, even if it's
Right.
not been loaded. I always double check, and then
Yeah,
like I have
double, triple, doesn't matter.
and it's the same with a knife etiquette. If I have a pocket knife and someone needs to use it, I instead of like closing it, I'll either close it or I'll hold it toward the blade. I'll hold it by the blade edge away from my hand and hand the handle to him. So that's what that's been like second nature to me when I'm ever passing a knife to someone.
Yep.
Hold it by the blade away from my hand, handle to the person.
Right. Well, I went through all that in North Dakota and stuff, and like I said, I was the single shot king. I grew up with a 410 shotgun with a single shot in it. All right, let's go duck hunting. Oh, okay.
Hey,
You
I
better
now
make
have a
your
14
goddamn-
shotgun.
You better make sure your shots counted. You know, I mean, I
When I was 11, my grandpa gave me a Marlin tube fed 22, the ones that hold like 20 rounds or some shit.
yeah.
I was 11, and he's like, all right, go shoot squirrels and stuff. And I was like, okay.
My papa gave me and JB a BB gun.
I don't know. First deer I ever shot was with one shot. You know, I mean,
But we had weird rules about knives, and when I tell people about some people get it, and other people look at me like, one, if somebody opens a knife, you never close the knife. They have to close the knife.
I'll be right back.
Okay, baby. Drive safe. Love you. Never give a knife as a gift, but if you do, make sure that whoever you gave the knife to gives you at least a penny, so that actually they bought the knife.
Why a penny?
It don't have to be a penny. You can charge them $1. It's just got to be some monetary thing,
To say that.
so
they
that
bought it,
technically you didn't give them a knife; they bought the knife.
Yeah.
Like because of hillbilly voodoo. Like there's
I've never
rules.
heard that before. That's a new one on me. Then
Well,
again,
where are you
I'm
from?
the youngest guy in the room probably right now.
Where are you from?
You're probably also not a
Arkansas.
hillbilly. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's not hillbilly. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. There's
Well, if you
rural.
go far enough south Arkansas, you get some hillbillies.
Right. Like, and like I said, it's like Kentucky Appalachian freaking voodoo. Like, if you close a knife that someone else opened, you're wanting their life to end early.
Huh,
And if
that's
you give them a
interesting.
knife as a gift, you're wanting them to stab themselves with it. It's like curses and shit.
Huh.
You know, like in Eastern Kentucky in those hollers and shit. Yeah, curses and shit like that. That's still a thing. Like even right now. You know what I mean? It's like, plus there's a lot of Satanists up there.
Mm.
So you got to watch out for them assholes too. So yeah, it's a thing. I found out yesterday that apparently the city near to where I live is on the top 10 worst places in Kentucky to live. I was like, what? I always thought it was nice. I mean, I live like so far away from it. I live like an hour's drive, but still. Like where I live, there's literally like 16 houses, and they're scattered out all down the hillside. And our house is at the top of the hill. So it's not even a town. It's just like some people who know each other that all live in the same general area. But anyway, yeah, Kentucky is its own thing. That's why there's so many role-playing games set in Kentucky. There's
I've never heard of a
Gods of
game set in
Kentucky,
Kentucky
there's
before this
Appalachia,
conversation.
Bloody Appalachia, and then there's the Jeffersontown expansion for kids on bikes.
I'm pretty sure that Call of Cthulhu has modules set in Kentucky too.
Yep.
I can see it. Heck,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
video games also with Zomboid. Project Zomboid is based in Kentucky.
Project Zomboid is E-Town, I think.
I saw
no,
from
it's near Louisville. Like,
Yeah, it's near
around
Louisville. Yeah.
I saw from a friend of mine I follow on X. He's a big Call of Cthulhu fan, and I guess sometime this year they're going to be releasing a kind of like a Japanese Yellow King module. Well, it looks like I'll have to look up the name of it to see what it's called.
Well, that'll do great because Call of Cthulhu is the most popular game in Japan.
Yeah.
I've heard. I am not a big fan of Call of Cthulhu. I prefer Delta Green.
Well, probably because you like the idea that maybe you could win.
Have you listened to some of the Delta Green actual plays that some people have on? It can be brutal sometimes, especially the ones I've listened to.
Right.
There's at least 2 character deaths every season. They do like an actual play of Delta Green.
Yeah, but it's a lot easy to deal with deep ones if you're packing like an AK or something.
Yeah, my personal grievance is when it comes to the character creation between the two. Call of Cthulhu, I'm flipping through chapter after chapter just to do certain parts, whereas when I look at Delta Green, it's all right there.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, that does add a lot to a game when it's easy to use.
Make it create a character, yeah.
Yeah. That's how I judge a lot of games is I try to make a character, and if I can't get a character made in under like 15 or 20 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, about this. Like OSC, AD&D games like that, I can knock a character out so quick. And that's without even cheating and using online character builders. I can just, sit down and knock a character out. It's not a big deal, but I remember when Delta Green was a source book for like Call of Cthulhu 5th edition.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't even its own game. It was like a source book.
So I don't know if this is going to be the title you're sticking with, but it's called The Sutra of Pale Leaves, Twin Suns Rising, Encountering the Keenan Yellow in 1980s Japan. Is the name of the new book module they're going to be releasing this year.
Do you want to know what else is wild about the fact that Call of Cthulhu is the most popular role-playing game in Japan? demographically, the majority of players are female. I mean, it's not by a huge margin, but it's by a margin. You know what I'm saying?
I have thoughts, but I don't want to get you banned from YouTube.
Oh, you mean like tentacle hentai shit?
Yes, exactly. That's immediately what popped, because I remember there was some other video I was watching, and it mentioned, "Oh, Japan's Call of Cthulhu," and it's immediately like a head tie girl and like a squid, like in the anime cartoony thing, and all of a sudden a censor bar appears when the squid comes up to the girl.
You know, I'm thinking that that's probably not it. It's probably that
Probably
since
not.
Call of Cthulhu is so, you know, character driven and like
gotta go, I'll see you.
interactions between players and all that kind of shit. It probably just appeals to the female gamer a lot more, you know? Kind of like how Vampire kind of brought all the females in back in the 90s. Like Vampire the Mask is like, we used to play D&D and you'd have a couple girls now and then want to play. And then Vampire hit and it was like big booty goth chicks all over the place. You know
That's what
I
everyone
mean?
keeps saying. Yeah,
It
I
was
never-
nuts.
I never played Vampire. I tried to get into a Wraith the Oblivion game, the 20th anniversary, and
Oh my
it
God.
fell apart after 3 sessions. That's how bad it was.
Well, it would. Wraith
Yeah.
the Oblivion is like one of the most depressing freaking games ever.
Well, it wasn't that. It was we had player issues of people trying to start things that were just messing up like the entire flow of the game was also part of the problem with, especially when it came to the shadows, was what really kind of messed it up.
Right.
And it got some of the other players upset. In my opinion, if I was to play any White Wolf game, the only one I could see myself running would be First Edition Hunter the Reckoning, because it does what it's supposed to do. You're hunting monsters. I don't want to do politics with vampire clans or werewolf clans. I want to be able to, because if I want a vampire game, I want to go like kill people as a vampire. And just from what, especially the new 5th editions, you don't get that. And I listened to a actual play of a 5th edition Hunter game for a little while, and it's all about, like the emotional trauma the players have. I don't care about your emotional trauma. Let me hear you hunt some monsters. And First edition Hunter does that.
Right. Well, I played a lot of 5th edition last year, and yeah, we killed quite a few people. You know, but then again, my humanity on my character is pretty low. So, you know, of course, the negative is because the humanity's so low, it makes me a lot easier to spot as a vampire. Because I actually start, it's like the lower your humanity, the more you start actually looking like a vampire.
Are you exhibiting the typical gangrel? Like, you know, you got the fucking hair coming out like by your ears, and you can't, like, no matter what, you shave yourself bald, and 2 minutes later you turn yourself into Wolverine.
Right.
You know, like you can't get away from it. Like you've got bangs all the time.
Right.
I'm naked. No, you've got a fucking cape and this hang glider lapel that everybody can see. It's black and red on the inside. Fuck.
Right. Actually, in the card game, Vampire the Eternal Struggle, Bela Lugosi is a 6 blood pool Malkavian. And he dresses up like his character from the movie Dracula.
That poor man. That poor tortured man.
Yep. But no, my character being Bruja, it just meant that my skin is like really pale and you know, I look like somebody that's not breathing, you know, like and it's noticeable. But you are right, Gangrel, if their humanity gets too low, they start actually taking on aspects of their beast. So, yeah. But, I mean, it depends. If you want to play a straight-up combat game, I mean, Werewolf doesn't have to be about politics.
it can be more of a combat game than Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, you make your little group of werewolves and you're just constantly attacking Pentex factories, Black Spiral dancers, vampires every time you can find them. You know, just whatever. I mean, you can go full on, but 5e vampire makes, or 5e werewolf makes werewolves very weak.
Yeah,
Combat. What happened with BattleTech? Yeah.
Oh, BattleTech? I mean, you know.
Are
Well,
we
you want
trying
to
to
Just
poke
kidding.
there?
Kidding.
remember when you're making your BattleTech character that whatever level you want your agility to be, it costs twice as much as all the other attributes. So if you want a strength 4, it costs 4 points or whatever. But if you want agility 4, it costs 8.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because agility is the attribute that factors into piloting, gunnery, shooting guns. Like all the combat skills are based on agility. So they made agility cost twice as much as any other skill to keep the game balanced. Otherwise, you'd have people starting with like gunnery 2, piloting 3, you know, like better than you know, just super elite mech warriors. Anyway, apparently these Harlow Reapers, they don't wear a lot of armor, painting a lot of skin over here, which I generally hate.
Sorry
Yeah.
for bringing BattleTech. Sorry.
Next week, I'll be starting on my true aberration, my Beholder Babe.
Oh yeah.
Your brother had something to say about her.
I'm sure he did. Probably he said I'd hit it. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
You're right. He did.
Yeah, I know my brother. Like I said, he married a juggalette. I mean, if you'll marry a juggalette, then I mean, nothing's off the table.
Is that his current wife or is that one of his former ones?
That's a former one.
Oh,
Like I said, his
Still-
first wife, he got paid to marry. She was a Czech citizen. So they stayed together long enough for her to get her citizenship. He should have kept her because she, like I said, she's a ballerina. She was like this 5'2", 90-pound hot Eastern European chick. But for some reason, he wanted to move on and do his own thing. And then he dated a bunch of black chicks. Like he ran through about 20 of them. And then he got with the juggalette, and then he ended up splitting up with her, and now he's with the truck driver, who's just a normal person.
He broke the one rule: don't stick your dick in crazy.
The one thing I can say, though, about the juggalette chick is she plays D&D. So he used to love that because they were always playing D&D.
I had a character concept because I was trying to remember. It was a game I was playing. It was helping play test some Supers game, and something came out where we made like an ICP parody reference. I can't remember exactly what the joke was, but it gave me the idea of what to do, like a backup, like anti-hero character that's just like that's just a juggalo that wields a hatchet for like a
Right.
super, just some normal dude in face paint, hatchet in hand, just high on whatever drug that gives him the superpowers that he uses.
Or better yet, he's a juggalo running around with a hatchet, and if he's in the Marvel universe, Magneto cannot affect him in any way because he doesn't believe in magnets.
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
Right?
Oh,
And I don't want
God.
to hear a scientist trying to tell me all this shit because they be
But that-
lying and making me
That
pissed.
also ages me because I used to own the album that song was on. When it like first came out, it was like a special edition, and at the time there was only like 2-3 places you could get like explicit music. That was Target, Hastings, Hot Topic, and Hastings had like one copy left of that album that song was on, and I remember buying it when I was like, frick, I was in high school, I think, when that album dropped.
The first time I heard that song was because I think it was Hungar was like, dude, go to YouTube and type in Miracles by, and I was like, okay. And I watched that video and I called him back and I'm like, are they being serious? Like, is this serious?
It's a good song, but it is funny.
Because I don't know if they're serious.
It's hit and miss. Some songs are more serious on than others, but they've always been done good music. I like a lot of their stuff.
Their whole, I always make fun of it when the one guy's like, all my kids look just like me, and all his kids look just like me. Or whatever.
Yeah, it was like SNL or Conan something did like a parody of that song. And it was like, all my kids look just all that dude's kid looks just like him, and all my kids look just like him too. And they're like, wait, what?
Wait, what? My favorite was when like College Humor did Juggalo News, and they used to do like it was during like 2000 whatever presidential Olympics, and like they were all pulling for like Ron Paul, but his name wasn't Ron Paul. It was like Mad Dr. Two Nuts or some shit, and it was Ron Paul painted up like a juggalo. And they're like, we're going live to our political analyst, Doug Nuts. It's just like, what?
And that was like, we now go to our correspondent, Miss Crazy Bitch.
Yeah, Miss Crazy Bitch. And she's like, what up? And the other guy's name was like serial killer. Yeah. Crazy bitch. And they were all talking that shit.
Yeah, I remember seeing those pop up on YouTube.
Those
were funny.
Up his game because Dr. Crazy to whatever, he should be dropping truth bombs and shitting right in Obama's ears and all this shit. And it's just like, wow, that would be an interesting news show. I would watch it. Like if it had been real, I'd been like, yeah, I'll watch that. Just because Crunk, that was his name, Crunk Thug Nuts. It's just like, what?
What's your name? Crunk Thunderguts.
Yeah, Crunk Thug Nuts.
I actually, in my late teens, early 20s, I actually wrote and recorded my own like underground like hip hop music for the longest time, just because I had friends that were doing it and I got into it. And I actually eventually, when I was like looking around for people and like music to follow, I became friends with a lot of like underground artists, and some of those underground artists actually would perform at those gathering of the Juggalos that would happen like during the summer every year. I knew some. I actually were friends with some of the artists that performed there.
Yeah, that was the song I was mocking earlier. Was Juggalo Island?
Oh yeah, that was on that same album too with Miracles. I remember that.
Let's let our balls hang in the water.
My favorite one, he had a song called "To Catch a Predator." And it's just about him pretending to be a girl and like luring like the pedophiles in to like murder them.
Yeah, those guys are weird. Didn't one of them get pistol whipped by Eminem?
Apparently they squashed that years ago, if I recall correctly. But yeah, they had beef with Eminem for a short while over some show dispute or whatever. I don't know. It was a weird thing.
Yeah, from what I remember, is because one of them might have slept with Eminem's wife.
Oh, I don't know about that part. I've never heard that one. That's the first for me.
Eminem apparently pistol whipped the dude in the parking lot.
I would believe it. I would believe it.
These rap guys.
Hey, at least they're not P. Diddy.
Yeah.
2025 is so lit right now. I mean, I'm watching fucking Gavin Newsom torch his 2028 run right now.
Gavin Newsom. I just read something. Gavin Newsom is the Pierre Trudeau of California.
No, here's my problem is I feel bad. California is burning to ashes. my dark humor hears it. Immediately I'm going, we didn't start the fire. It was always burning when there was. But here's what I love: a Fallout Boy, the rock band, did an updated cover of that song with like from the 1990s to like early 2000s stuff. So they redoing that song, and it's hysterical, but it's also just like a train wreck for me as I listen, because I'm like, I lived through all this shit.
Yeah, you're definitely telling on yourself, because Fall Out Boy, that was like my kids' band.
Yeah. So I don't mind sharing. I'm 32. I was born in the 92, so
yeah,
I'm pretty young. But I didn't start playing TTRPGs until like late, like 2019, when COVID hit, was when I finally started getting into it, because I'm stuck in my house, nothing to do, and all of a sudden a game pops up in my social media feed. I'm like, oh, let me try that, and that led me down the rabbit hole where I am now. So.
You're not in a rabbit hole until you go to the conventions. Then you're really go into the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm too broke to go to those.
I've been a Joe Satriani guy. I listened to Satriani since 1989.
Surfing with the Aliens, man.
Yeah.
I love that album. I would go down to Interstate playing that one.
Just jamming the shit out of that with windows down.
Yep. Yeah.
And like, I've been listening to that album for so long, and I love it. And the other day, I was just going through YouTube, and it said Beyond the Supernova, Joe Satriani. I'm like, what? And his son is not a musician. His son is a fucking film editor and producer. And his son took all the footage from the 2016-17 lead up to the release of Supernova, and he compiled it into like an hour-long movie. So I'm just there watching it, and at the very end, you got Satriani and Guthrie Govan playing together. Like, holy shit! This is a joyful fucking musicianship here, and I'm just beside myself like a 10-year-old boy, loving it. God, I could watch that over and over again.
I'm glad that makes you happy, man.
Yeah, that's Satriani and Steve Vai and all those old school instrumentalists make me happy. But hearing the new stuff from the new kids, and when they do covers with Joe, or Joe gets on stage with them, like that's a lot of fun. Joe's like 68 years old now. Damn.
Didn't he go out with Hagar in the last tour?
Yeah, he did Chickenfoot. He had 2 albums with them.
Yep, I know. I got those albums, and I got Hagar's stuff, and then I thought he went out on tour with Hagar in this Best of All Worlds thing, so that they could play. The Satriani was trying to play Eddie Van Halen's licks on those that stuff. So
he wasn't doing bad. I liked what I was hearing. I could definitely go for a third Chickenfoot album, though.
I don't know if we'll ever get one.
I don't think so.
I have to say, guys, I am way too much of an edgy boy for any of that shit. Like that's like grandpa rock.
Hey, that's fine. Fucking what? Sammy Hagar is like 75 years old. He looks like he's 30.
Like back in that time, I was listening to like Sabbath, freaking Pink Floyd, Joy Division, Sisters of Mercy, The Cure, freaking Depeche Mode, Morrissey and the Smiths.
That's
like I had to listen to all the edgiest of edgy shit.
Fucking Sabbath toured with Deep Purple, I believe, the year that Satriani was with Deep Purple.
That's too bad, because I despise Deep Purple. So it's too bad that Satriani actually toured with them, because Satriani's not too bad.
He's definitely one of the founders of the modern guitar movement. I mean, he helped refine so many guys and turn them into monsters like fucking Kirk Hammett and shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Satriani is a badass. He's a great guitarist.
But what's weird is that he was a guitarist and a guitarist teacher before he became an artist, making like songs and such.
Well, I mean the band Garbage, all of the guys in that band were producers, and they just hired Shirley Manson to be the front chick. Yeah, they just gave her a call and was like, "Hey, we're gonna pay you a bunch of money if you sing these songs we wrote." And she was like, "Sure." And then you get, I'm only happy when it rains. Those guys, it was a fake band.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a real band, but technically it was 100% just some studio producers that said, "I think we can make a bunch of money if we just hire some chick to sing these songs we wrote." And it worked out. I mean,
I'm not against the results. I love Garbage.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Garbage. Pour your misery down on poor.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, but I'm not scared to admit it. I like Nickelback. That's always been one of my favorite rock bands.
All right, go away. You can go away now.
You're getting zero flack from me. I love Nickelback.
Yeah,
Nickelback kicks ass.
I own, the last two of their albums. I have physical copies of all their albums currently. My very first one I ever owned was Dark Horse, and I could listen to that one all the way through on repeat.
See, I don't own any of their albums because I have Alexa. And I just say, "Alexa, play, whatever."
We need to sing today, "Here Comes the Weekend" from Moody Blues.
Moody Blues?
Have you heard that song, "Here Comes
the
Weekend"?
But if I think Moody Blues,
it hears like that, like, "Here comes the weekend."
I'm always thinking Nights in White Satin or something. That's Moody Blues.
That was my dad's favorite song of theirs.
Yeah.
Never reaching the end.
Yeah, but it sounds very much like strong.
Never meaning. And of course, when I was 16, Metallica came out, and I had to jump on that bandwagon. Kill 'Em All, and Garage Days Revisited, and all that shit. Seek and destroy. And then, of course, one of the greatest vocalists of all time, King Diamond.
But what do you think of Testament?
Grandma, what was it like to live?
Yeah, see, all these are going over my head right now. I have no clue who.
King Diamond was the crazy Swedish guy that painted his face white with like black lines and sang really high pitch. But his first album, or no, it wasn't his first album, but album that Grandma's on, Welcome Home. The whole album, every song is part of one story. And it's about a haunted house or some shit like that. And like the grandma comes back from the nursing home and there's ghosts and shit. It's really freaking weird. But for more normal music that Big Vic up there might respect, I'm a huge fan of Jethro Tull.
I didn't get into Tull.
Oh yeah,
don't know who that
Thick as
is.
a brick. Come on, man, Thick as a brick.
No, didn't get into them. I at that point in time, I was dating the punk rock chick, and I was the Cure and a lot of local bands and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean everybody loved the Ramones.
Yeah,
Rock and Roll High School, Blitzkrieg Bop, all that shit. Yeah. Freaking the Ultra Americans, like who?
Yeah, I'm like,
just go to YouTube and type in Ramones. You'll be all right.
Just Ramones.
It'll probably be a life-changing experience for you, really.
Are you talking about Abigail by King Diamond?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was their second studio album, their first concept album they did, 1987. I wanted to make sure I got it right, but Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing with them is they leaned into the whole, oh, look at us, we're satanic, even though no one gives a shit. They probably weren't. And they were like real for a Swedish metal band, they were way into like this experimental rock shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, where a whole album's just one freaking story. And I mean, that was kind of King Diamond's thing. And of course, there's always what's his name? Victus Varg.
Varg?
Oh,
yeah, I forget
Varg.
what the name of his band was.
Well, I actually have to hop off now. I got invited to go chat with some other friends of mine. They're wanting me to hop on, so just wanted to come on. It was snowing here, made it home safely. Saw y'all were doing live. Figured I'd just come on, say hi again. So
good seeing you, Ultra.
See ya.
Nice to see
all
you.
right, everyone, try to stay warm.
Yep. Yeah, I'll end up actually canceling this here in a little bit because I think my wife just pulled something out of the oven. I'm looking across the house to see.
Big Vic, I promise that I will not bring the BattleTech topic again.
You're not talking about BattleTech.
It's not me. I don't play it, so I don't care. I'm a big AD&D guy.
But if you're going to talk about
especially
BattleTech,
if Barry is,
I still want to know again, if you didn't tell me before, or even if you have, what is your favorite 3025 mech? Yeah,
mine, the Stalker,
That's-
the 3F variant.
the Stalker. Okay, that's an assault mech. What about heavies?
The heavies, well, I don't know. I like the Trebuchet. I like the Hunchback.
Those aren't heavies. Those are mediums.
Those are mediums. Okay, so the Thunderbolt.
T-Bolt. Good
I
choice.
don't remember the
And
tonnage.
then medium, you already
Yeah,
just said Trebuchet or Hunchback.
Yeah, because I don't remember what is the tonnage range, but
I always
name.
will choose the Griffin for my medium. And then for light,
Griffin.
it's got to be a Jenner. I mean, come on.
Jenner.
That
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
is a
I
monster.
gotta go Jenner.
Yeah, it's just like there is no excuse for that thing being so good. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it is a light that behaves like a medium.
it's a light that can take out a medium if that medium ain't paying attention to what's going on around it.
Yeah.
Not only take out a medium, but seriously harass heavies or assault. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like you got to watch that little bastard because you're not
Yeah.
paying attention.
Indeed,
And it runs up
Atlas.
directly behind you into that back arc and unloads 4 medium lasers and SRMs. It's like
Indeed.
not a good time for anybody.
I say that an Atlas is a Jenner without jump jets.
Right. Atlas is the assault mech. I like that a lot, but I agree with you though. The Stalker is a beast. Even if the
I
original
prefer to
miniature,
use-
which I have a bunch of, just look like eggs with the legs. Literally, it just looked like somebody put legs on an egg and called it a day.
The Stalker serves very good as a bodyguard for an Atlas.
Well, like we've said this before in conversation, the Stalker gets more dangerous the closer it gets. It's slow, but it starts out already being a pain in your ass with all the LRMs and everything. And just the closer it
And if
gets,
you
the
fry the
worse shit
pilot-
gets for you.
Yeah, and if you fry the pilot, you get lots of firepower.
Yeah, if you're willing to overheat it, yeah, you can get tons of firepower, but I wouldn't recommend that. But
I'm watching. I'm reading the news. here,
I
James.
did that.
Yeah, I'm sort of giving a laugh here. It says Meta is going to end its DEI policies because of legal and something else changes, and I'm like, when was it mandatory that these companies had to have a DEI program? Was there a federal law or something like that passed?
Here's what happened. BlackRock bought a shit ton of their stock and told them they had to do it. Because the guy who owns BlackRock and Vanguard and all that shit, they have him literally on TV talking about how they're going to push DEI, and if people don't like it, they're just going to force them. You know, some behaviors have to be forced, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hold on there, Sparky. This is the United States. We don't like being forced. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just not the way we typically want to roll. So I don't know who you are other than the owner of some big freaking investment firm. But this idea that you're going to socially engineer my whole damn country because you feel like you want to. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, as it turns out. But I think the owners of BlackRock, Vanguard, Main Street, they should all be probably arrested and hanged.
Oh, well, I'm not going to say anything right now, but I know of a bankruptcy court case that's going through Nevada right now, and it's for a company that was short sailed to death, and they will be asking for the blue sheets, which are the stock transactions, to see who all has stock in that company. And if they find it's been oversold, those who have oversold it are going to be headed the way of who is the guy? Bernie Madoff way.
Well, they need to. They need to.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, yeah. It smells like my wife made her famous panko crusted pork loins.
Uh-oh. I can see James putting on weight just with this smell in it.
Yeah, the pork loin's really good. And she doesn't use like a lot of anything bad.
Here we have some Idaho potatoes waiting too.
Yeah, no Idaho potatoes waiting for me.
Are you guys familiar with the old TV show Space 1999?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it worth watching in its entirety?
I didn't think so.
You did not?
Nope. There were some things about it I just couldn't get over.
I didn't watch a whole lot of it. It didn't grab me like DS9 did. You know what I mean? When DS9 came out, I thought that was, I watched, and then I couldn't watch Voyager. Voyager, I didn't really like Voyager very much. I like DS9 far better than I like Voyager. So
now, to be honest, Bruce, you know how I'm weird about gravity and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So don't necessarily trust me every time I say I don't like a sci-fi show. But the problem with Space 19 whatever was that in that show, the starship pilots were also the ground combatants. So they were fighting the Chigs, which were some kind of bug thing, and they would do all of the like firefights, dogfighting and shit. And then they would land the ships and get out and grab their assault rifle and go fight on the ground. And that was a super turnoff to me because I'm like, it costs millions of dollars to train a fighter pilot. No freaking ground-to-ground combat situation, Like, we talked about this yesterday even. Like, they should have had fighter pilots escorting transports. You know what I mean? And then have the transports land and the Marines jump out, and do their Halo thing. And the transport take off with fighter cover. But they tried to, I guess it was to save them money on actors. Because, they only had to have the one set of actors that could do both parts. And it just made it where I was just like, I cannot get into this show because there's no effing way that they would ever train a fighter pilot and then chuck his ass on the line with an assault rifle. That's not going to happen. You know, as a matter of fact, they'll sacrifice 50 infantrymen to get that fighter pilot back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they feel like they can, they will. I mean, and we see it all the time. Like with the Air Force have their recovery guys. Those guys go out in like teams of 7 to 10. They could every one of them die, plus the helicopter they're in, and they'll do that to get a fighter pilot back. No questions asked. You know what I mean? So, because it turns out, I guess it costs like millions of dollars to train a good, competent fighter pilot. It don't cost that much money to train like an airborne ranger or freaking, infantry guy or even a helicopter pilot, apparently. So yeah, there you go. That was my big problem. If that wouldn't bother you, you might like it.
I'm going to probably pass on it. The show I want to watch, I just found out is on YouTube, Space Above and Beyond.
That might be the show I'm actually talking about.
Nope, because Space Above and Beyond has 1 week where they do ground pounders, and the next week they do the flyboys.
Oh, okay.
And actually, the Earth portion of it, like the first 1 or 2 episodes, they have the boot camp. And who's the fucking boot camp drill sergeant? Arlie fucking Ermy.
That's funny.
Yeah. He never.
No way it could have been better if it was like Private Zim.
Well, that's how I remember boot camp.
Friggin' put your hand against that wall, recruit. Puts a knife through the guy's hand. How are you going to push the button if you cannot use your hand? Right?
Unfortunately, when I went to Great Mistakes, I had 2 Navy SEALs that were done. They only had like a few years left. And so they said, "Where would you like to go?" And they sent them up to Great Mistakes. And I unfortunately landed in their training battalion. And oh my God. Let me tell you what. Oh man, we lost one. Jose dropped out.
Yeah.
We got to see everybody's bald head here.
For us, it was special for me because they were doing this thing where when you joined, if you joined as an infantryman, you could join as an X. So instead of 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie, 11 whatever, you were 11X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of basic training, which was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, they lined everyone up and they decided what all you were going to be. Whether you were going to be, be this, that, or the other, right? But in reality, since it was 89 and they were just bringing the Bradleys online as our main infantry combat vehicle, like everyone in my rotation become 11 Mike, which meant we had to go through infantry school and then we had to go to a really short kind of primer school at Fort Knox, involving like armored warfare because of the Bradley.
This is the Bradley.
Right. And then later on, somebody rolled in and said, being a dismount in a Bradley shouldn't really be its own MOS. And so everyone that was an 11 Mike got reclassified as 11 Bravo. And it was just like, okay, but that's how your boy was 3 MOSs.
Wow.
11X, 11 Mike, 11 Bravo.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. But and they no longer send infantrymen that get assigned to Bradleys to like Fort Knox. It's just like if you show up and they assign you to a Bradley unit, they just teach you on the spot. They're just like, "Oh, hey, welcome. Here's how we do shit." You know what I mean? That's basically it. You know, so everyone involved is just 11 Bs. They got rid of the 11 Ds and turned them into like Cav Scout. And then 11C is Mortar Guy. And then there's another infantry thing that are specialists with anti-tank weapons. And you see them in a mechanized unit. They're in the 113s that have the T-shaped thing on the top. And it's just basically tow launchers. But of course, the Bradley's got tow launchers too. So I don't know why they even do that. But what's really funny for me to see now is they've started replacing all of the 113 variants with Bradley variants. So like, I guess the old Bradleys that they're no longer wanting to use as frontline combat things, they're just taking the turrets off of them and turning them into like rebuilding them and turn them into like ambulances, command and control vehicles, what have you. You know what I mean?
They're shipping them all over to Ukraine.
They shipped a bunch of them over, and some of them did really well, and some of them are being displayed in the middle of Moscow right now.
Oh, wow.
Because the Russian military, if you're in a unit and you take out a Western vehicle, you get like 5,000 bonus rubles. Because that's how they're doing now. That's why in the last year, they raised 600,000 troops. And it's basically they're paying more to the troops that sign these contracts than these guys could ever make in the civilian world.
Wow.
We're talking like join the Russian army, become rich, and also every objective you capture, you get bonus money. Every Western tank is bonus money. Every tank is bonus money, but it's more bonus money if it's a Western tank. Every enemy unit you capture or exterminate is bonus money. It's crazy. It's like a video game. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you took that objective. Your unit gets bonus rubles. I mean, it's nuts. And all the oblasts were like competing. Like every time one of them would offer a sign-up bonus, like the neighboring oblast would increase their sign-up bonus. So the sign-up bonuses just kept going up to the point that some of these guys, if they survive long enough, just the sign-up bonus that they got for joining, they'll be able to buy a house if they get out. And then the Russian military has decided that if a person joins and they're married, their wife and family get full access to all of their military medical, PXs, all that shit, which apparently they didn't used to do, but now they are. And then the last thing is if you die in battle, your wife gets like a big payout.
Wow.
So yeah, they're pretty much, your average Russian infantryman is making the same amount as an American infantryman, except their cost of living is like a fifth of what ours is. So they're literally just getting rich. And all they got to do is go to Ukraine and, smack around the Ukrainians. And they have artillery units. This was on Instagram. These Russian guys are talking about how they sleep in shifts so that the artillery units never stop. It's like one shift is firing rounds downrange, and when they're done, it's like they clock out and the next shift shows up and clocks in and starts firing rounds downrange. And the Ukrainians are like totally not having a good time because it's like the artillery never stops. It's like it's nonstop. But I mean, the Russians are on war footage, so they're making like 100,000+ artillery rounds a day.
The Russians are really good at that.
Yeah, they're good at that artillery shit. They always have been. That slow, methodical, just grind you down into the dirt. And then what they do, like in World War II, is they grind you down to you're like down to the bone, and then they use the armor for numerous breakthroughs. And then you're just basically effed, you know. Once those breakthroughs start happening, I mean, there's not enough left of you to do anything. And that's what they've been doing. So hopefully when our boy gets in, we'll see what's happening. He's already said he's going to have a meeting with the president of Russia, but Zelensky's mad because Zelensky's not getting invited to the meeting. So Zelensky might need to just go ahead and start preparing himself for some bad news.
Zelensky,
yeah, like he's never getting Crimea back, and he's probably going to have to go ahead and give up all of Donbass and Luhansk. And he will never be allowed to join NATO. And that'll probably be the best deal he gets. Otherwise, he'll just get absorbed by Russia entirely because the Russians are winning. So they have no reason to even want to negotiate. I mean, why do you negotiate when you're winning? It's like you got all the aces, you know? So what can Ukraine offer? Nothing. They're losing bad. You know, it's like, so they have no leverage. Even us, the United States, we have no leverage. We can go in there and be like, hey, can we do this thing? But the Russians can be like, oh, you know, we're winning, right? So we don't care. And that would be the end of it. That's just it, you know? Because it's not like we're going to go to World War III over Ukraine. Let's be honest. No one really gives a shit.
God, I hope not.
No one gives a shit about that place.
my son wanted
In
to sign up for the Army, and a recruiter was calling me left and right. And finally, I said, oh, he said, I got these documents I need you to sign. And I said, really? I said, send them over to me. He sent me the first and last page of the contract, and I called him up and chewed his ass so far up on one side and down the other. He's like, but I said, now listen up, dumb shit. I was in the military myself. I said I wanted to see the whole freaking contract. Now you just shot your wad, and I'm never talking to you again. Don't expect my son to join. Click.
People don't understand that. Like, recruiters are like used car salesmen.
Yeah.
They will freaking lie. Anyway.
He was lying
guys,
to me left
my
and right.
dinner
I
is
said
done.
I wanted to know what his proposed MSO was. I wanted all this information, and he wouldn't cooperate.
Well,
with
if
me.
he's going to join the Army, he should have been able to tell you what MOS he's going to be. It's like only the other branches make you take like from a selection.
Right.
In the Army, that's the one good thing about joining the Army. If you sign a contract to be a thing, you're going to be that thing.
I told him I wanted the whole freaking contract, and he sends me the first and last page.
Because they're used car salesmen. There's no one shadier on the planet than a freaking recruiter.
And I chewed him so hard he never picked up that phone again. Didn't call my ex-wife, didn't call me, didn't call my son.
They are shady bastards.
Well, once I invoked the local general in charge of recruiting that I said I knew him, that was the end of the talking by that.
When I went in, they tried to tell me that the MOS I wanted to be wasn't available. There were no more slots, but they could get me a slot as something else. And I said, nah, I'll go home.
Yeah.
Give me a call when you got my MOS. And I kid you not, the recruiter, this was at MEPS. He's like, well, hold on. And he left. And I'm sure he just walked outside and stood there for like 10 minutes. He came in and he's like, oh, man, I had to really pull some strings, but I got you a spot. It's like, whatever. You know, my dad was in the Army. He told me not to trust you guys as far as I could throw you. But anyway, my dinner is done. I have to go.
All right. Well,
Well,
good
there
night,
it is.
everybody. See you like Monday. All
Yeah,
right.
see you later, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, ladies and gents.